We've got audio very well. We've got a camera perfect. And let us begin. Very well. Shabbat Shalom, my most esteemed friends, honorable judges, LV tribe, as well as everyone else accompanying us. On this rather precious day of Shabbat from California, the US of A, today being a day that seems that it'll be heated, very much a summer-like day, although we're not well into summer. We're not into summer yet, right? On the 21st, that is when we're entering already. We're entering, or is today the first day? Is today the first day? Spectacular summer day. It says it's going to be super heated. Take that spectacular word out because it's going to be an insufferable heat, but we've already started the day with a full sun. There are some clouds that might shield us a bit. Today is the 25th of Sivan. Sivan's on its way out of the year 5994 from creation. This corresponds to the 21st day of June of the year 2025, in which we are officially entering in the northern hemisphere into summer. We'll study the Spirit of the Feast 36, yet another chapter of which I was going to speak specifically about prayer, but I changed the subject, so then prayer and the text of the invitation will be left for the following Shabbat. We'll have some modifications. Next Shabbat we'll speak about prayer, a subject that's rather very deep, very special. But today we'll talk about another subject. We'll try to close Isaiah so that we can already wrap up this subject of 25, 26, 27 of Isaiah, and another subject that we'll touch on at the end of it. So then let us start with a word of prayer. But the prayer, as I've already told you some time ago, will be different. From here on out will be a different type of prayer. The prayer, you'll understand it later, but now I'll do it. It is very short. May be surprising to some, but that's the way it'll be. It is only in this manner. It is Eloheinu, Eloheinu, lama sabachthani, which is our God, or Elohim of ours, why have you abandoned us? That is the prayer, nothing else. And that is how the subject began. This week, we've had birthdays, the following members of the Eternal Truth, and we'd like to congratulate them. Oslenger, I don't know how you pronounce it. Shalit Usuga Tejeda, Venezuela. Crispin Hernandez Cortez, Mexico. Jefferson Lombardi Lizano, Peru. Leslie Lopez Perez, Guatemala. Gismina Fuentes, Chile. To each and every one of you, a great big hug on behalf of all of us. We're very happy that you've had another birthday on this flat earth, and we're continuing to advance. We hope that soon all this changes and that you start to have birthdays, but under different system. It's time to go out and look for the moon. It'll be on the 30th, so it's not necessary. Well, it'll never ever be necessary to see it, but it's the 30th day. It'll be very easy to see if it's not cloudy. If you don't just look out your window, if you look for a proper place, you might be able to see it. It'll be easy to see if the skies are not covered. It'll be this Thursday, the 26th of June, at sunset. On Friday, the new month begins. It is the fourth month, which bears the title of Tammuz. Fourth month bears the title of Tammuz. We could care less if Tammuz was a pagan god. Doesn't matter. That's its name. We don't give too much importance to it. It's just a calendar. Within all the calendars, we have just to celebrate, not to fulfill the feasts in the corresponding times, but the calendar that rules the world is the Gregorian calendar. Someday we'll have a new calendar. I do not doubt that. None whatsoever. None of these will be. They'll be completely obsolete. The biblical one is completely obsolete already. We have to be adding a month, checking for a whole bunch of things. We'll have a more precise calendar. Very well. But this Thursday, the moon will be coming up. It's time to go out and take pictures, but on Friday, we enter into a new month. The invitation, that precious picture that Leslie put up, that when I published the video, it wasn't coming up. I had to put up the picture. I don't know why it wasn't coming up. When I put the video, the picture was not coming up. When I put it in Facebook, I don't know for what reason, but it's the picture of the Argentinian flag. The Argentinian flag was created on June 20th. So then every 20th of June, it is celebrated that it was the creation of the flag. Spectacular colors, a flag that's rather precious. For me, it's the most beautiful one of all the earth because of the colors it has. It's colors of the sea, colors of heaven, as it says precisely the Aurora song, which I've already told you. One wing of the color of the sky and another wing color of the sea. It is just a representation of this flat earth. Spectacular. And the sun in the middle. Precious flag. Absolutely. It has no blood color of red. It has the blue color, the white color, and the sun. So then, a very happy day of the flag. Very well. I'd like to remind you that we've got a free consult, and Angelina's in charge of it. All those that need to understand why their body behaves in a way that brings problems, where the problems begin, and how to be able to try to solve them, because all things that take place in the physical plane of our body begin in a plane per se spiritual or psychic, which is the mind. It's a biological strike that then it's reflected in what's material, but you have to look for the immaterial part, and it's the emotions. The emotions are not non-material. That's where the problems begin. The problems begin here, and they're reflected in the body. When we see something that we don't like in the body, we have to look for the root of the problem, and we have a free service, and Angelina is in charge of that. In this video, I was repented because they're still asking me, how can I get in touch with Angelina? In this video, as well as in every other video, in the description of the video, below the video, wherever you're watching, below, click on read more, whatever language you have in YouTube, and you will see Angelina's link, her Facebook, where you can write to her. You write to Angelina, and she will give you, in the available time, a free consult call. We thank you for all those that remember about this service that we have that's free for everyone, and of LVE or non-LVE, whomever that would want to have this type of consult. Of course, we thank you for all of your donations that you send to Angelina, because that is the incentive for her to continue to offer this service free. Very well. Shemah Israel, YHWH Eloheinu, YHWH Ekhad, hear, O Israel, Yahweh our God. Yahweh is only one person, not two, not three. No such thing as that he had a son that he sent and all the rest. It may seem too basic for us, but it's very important for us, because that differs us from all the rest who think that Yahweh it's either three or two, or he's multi-phases, or many different appearances, or that he had a father, but when he was down here, Jesus would pray to a superior being to him that he would call my Father, my God, and all the rest. This text is central to start to understand. The scripture is one, and when it says that it's concealed, it cannot be understood. It's open to interpretation. The thing is, who can interpret it correctly? The whole world tries to interpret it. That's why we've got so many types of religions. It's as simple as that. Everybody comes with their own book of interpretation. We have one church, another, and another, and they all argue saying, no, this means this means that. But to keep these commandments, not those. These are not important. These are, can you eat pork or not? And we have all those types of problems, in which everyone, in their own interpretation of the scripture, they dictate whatever they want. Very well. The thing is that the scripture is concealed. And it was only concealed with one purpose. We could see Elohim and ye may see me. To crash out against Yahweh per se, against Elohim, as you might say, it's because of part of why I crash out against them. It's because of the injustices. Because if we cannot see the injustices, we cannot see the injustice even of God, then it does not fulfill its objective. Its objective is creation. Elohim is not a wicked being that came and created everything. Now he subjugates us to punishment, to death, just because he wanted to and because he likes that. That is not the Elohim that the Bible tells us about. All the story that the Bible tells us, if it could be understood correctly, it tells the story of a creation in which everything is fixed between good and evil from the very first page of the book, between good and evil. And between good and evil, we have to be born, live, and die between good and evil. The problem is when we see and we polarize in that God is good and evil is Satan, created being by that God and us. We, Satan and us, are the evil and God is the source of good. Right there, we no longer understand the purpose of creation. We completely misunderstand it entirely. Once we understand the purpose of creation, we understand that God is a being that is super intelligent. We cannot measure his intelligence. So then he said, I'm going to do it this way. It'll hurt them. They're not going to like it. Some will see it completely wrong, but it bears a purpose. He created this earth in order to hand it over to a group of people, so that a group of people may govern it, and it becomes a kingdom. The word kingdom, because we're not talking about that he makes a nation. We're not talking about that he makes a country. We're not talking about that he makes a republic. It's not a republic. It is a kingdom. The kingdom comes that there is kings. The kings reign forever. For the kings no longer reign once they die. If the king were not to die, he would never stop reigning, because the king continues to reign until he dies. That is what a kingdom is. The reign is not chosen by the people. There's no democracy. It's a king. The people don't get together and vote what king will have. No. So then, in the process of this creation, which would seem to be very complex, and others, actually it's not so complex in the way that I'm explaining it to you now. It's that Yahweh said, I'm going to make a world, an earth, in which all beings like me will live, because I'm going to make them in my likeness. I'm going to make them like unto me. I want them to reproduce. And they have to learn. It's a school, and the school lasts what the life of the people lasts. Some learn, others don't. Like in school, you can flunk, but you're going to have to do it again until you understand, until you graduate. Everyone, the purpose of the scripture is that they all live. If they learned in the school or didn't learn, they're going to have to continue to learn. And if you learned in the school, you continue to learn. But that is the general purpose, is that everyone lives in this kingdom. But it's a kingdom in which he, at the end, he prepares his kings for them to reign. but for them to reign with justice. He's not going to make a kingdom in which they're going to hand over to others. It won't be a kingdom that can be conquered. And it's also not going to be an unfair kingdom, because it would be an eternity in wickedness and injustice. Wickedness, injustice, kindness, and injustice, it's all going to coexist, because or else we would stop being thinking beings. It would not be free will, and free will has its limits, of course. There's people that don't believe in free will, that we're all just directed specifically according to so many things that we have in our mind. I believe that there is a clear margin of free will. Free will has to exist, no matter the margin. I'm not saying if it's completely all free will, but it has to exist. So then the possibility of somebody to do things wrong has to exist, or that they want to change something, because or else existence would have no reason. There's no being that's completely good and another being that's completely good, and 10,000 beings that they're all completely good, because they're not all completely good. There wouldn't be kindness or justice if you don't know what injustice and the potential of exercising. There wouldn't be anything. We wouldn't know what right and wrong is. Everything that could be wrong could be taken as wrong. They would say that is good because there's no wickedness in us. So then it's good. The rules, the laws will always exist. They have to exist to teach and to know the limits. There's always going to be limits. Humans, not even God, can live a life without limits. There has to be a limit of saying if you cross this limit, you're in a territory in which you bother other people, and it's wickedness. And you have wickedness. Those wickedness are highlighted by the laws. Freedom is not wanting you doing whatever the fuck you want. That's not what liberty is. Liberty is enclosed in limits, and many people say then it's not liberty. Then I want more liberty. I want the liberty of crossing all the red lights, or else I have no liberty. You don't have that liberty. When there's a red light, you have to stop the car. There's a law. Then he says, then that's not liberty. You're limiting me. Yes, exactly. Your liberty is to be able to drive under the laws. If you're within those laws, you have liberty. You have liberty of not driving. You can drive from here to there, but observing laws. And the laws have to exist and will exist forever, because the laws show you what is right and wrong. And since we are always going to have the possibility of doing what's wrong, if there wouldn't be laws, we wouldn't know what is right and wrong. We would not know what is convenient and what's not convenient. We would not know if I'm bothering somebody or I'm not bothering somebody. I would not know what my limits are. My limits are a law that says don't do this. Some people, maybe it bothers them that it tells them don't do this. But you have to learn for what reason not to do this. The laws have to be logical, because that law, it doesn't only limit me, it protects me. The laws are not stupid. Laws are good. They're not stupid. If they tell me don't cross a red light, not only is it limiting me from crossing it, it's protecting me. It's protecting me that when I go in green, another one has a red light, he stops, because ours, I wouldn't be protected. So then the laws limit me and protect me. They limit me and protect me. If we cannot understand what laws are, then we cannot have a world in liberty. There's no such thing as liberty without law. There's no such thing as liberty without law, because liberty without law is absolute chaos, because no one knows where your liberty ends. So then your liberty will be to go and set fire to your neighbor's house because you want his house, because you're free to do it. And don't come at me and say, no, because we're going to know what is right. No. No one knows what is right and wrong. To know what is right and wrong, a law tells you what this is wrong, period. That's it. If you have a barrier, don't cross it. Don't cross it. This is not your property. Don't cross it. So then one says, no, but I could give a fuck. I'm going to cross into the property. Don't cross it, because you are precisely crossing something that is you're not allowed to do. And if we don't learn that now, when are we going to learn it? When are we going to learn it? We want to have the freedom of crossing illegally into any barrier, some might think. How can justice be exercised without laws? Did you know that there's no laws? Justice cannot be exercised. If there's no laws, there's no justice whatsoever. What is justice? Justice is to be on behalf of what the law says. That's what justice is. And I'm talking about good laws, because you could say, no, but there's bad laws. What if there comes a command that you have to poke yourself and it's a law? Precisely. In that case, justice is not to poke yourself, because a commandment or an entity that is unjust is issuing it. What I'm saying objectively is that this world and this creation will take its purpose into effect of having a government that makes righteous laws, that if they were to do an unjust laws, and a group of people comes along and says, this for us is unrighteous, and for the case to be studied and says, yeah, that's right, that is unjust, this should not be applied. With that flexibility of what justice is, laws have to exist. If there's no law, there's no justice. Absolutely not. If there's no law, there's no justice. Okay. When Yahweh gave the laws to his people Israel that he formed, he gave laws that were absolutely unjust. A couple here and there just, and many absolutely insanely unjust. What did the people do? They had to obey him because it was the laws they had, unless they have a revolution against those laws. An infraction to those laws was called sin. It wasn't called as it is called now, which is a crime. It was called sin. When I make a crime, it means that I'm breaking a law. And if it's a lower one, it's just an infraction, like a traffic fine or something else, or just throwing garbage in the street, or lighting fire in my house and filling my whole neighborhood filled with smoke, or for loud music for my whole neighborhood. But I'm free. I want to put a huge speakers like this and to hear loud bass. And what about the rest? Oh no, I'm free. I'm free of listening to the music that I want. Yes, I'm free. Yeah, but at a volume that doesn't go past the property. And it's over. Your liberty ended completely when you broke the law. That's why the laws are necessary. There's always going to be laws. But the thing is, what is an argument is whether the law is just or not. That is the issue. Because I want to be ruled by laws. Or if there weren't laws, I wouldn't know anything but what's right and wrong. And I also couldn't tell the others he's bothering me. What law is there that I cannot bother you? What law is there? There's no law. So then I'm going to do whatever I want. The thing is the righteous laws. I'm complaining about unjust laws. That's what I'm complaining about. Not that there is laws or not. When Yahweh gave the laws, they were unjust laws. He himself said it when he says, I gave you laws that they couldn't even fulfill. They couldn't even fulfill. Exactly. The Bible letter tells you there is no man that fulfills the law. Why? Because it's laws that are completely unjust, based in insanity. Part of creation, part of creation. So then, what we call in our system of government an infraction, a crime, all that in the Bible is called sin. It's called sin. We are sinners. Sinners is because we have crimes against the government. By that law being annulled, I want you to understand what I'm explaining now. By that law being annulled of the Torah, sin ended. What is considered to be sin? That is what I tell you, that there has to be a law always. That law ended, and we were freed from that law. Already what the Bible considers to be sin has no more authority to call it sin, because that law ended. That law was annulled with the death of Yahweh. That's the only way of annulling that law, the death of Yahweh. That does not mean that there's no more injustice or wickedness. No, of course it exists. Injustice, wickedness, brutalities, crimes, of course it exists. But if we don't start with a code of laws, new laws, and of justice, we don't know what is wickedness and what is kindness. That's why, or what justice is. That's why so many churches say, this is wickedness. And they say, if you don't keep the Shabbat, it's a sin, it's wickedness. Others said, no, the Shabbat was annulled. What do you mean keep the Shabbat is wickedness? What does the Shabbat have to do with wickedness? To keep the Shabbat is not a sin. It's also not wickedness. I want to make that very clear, super clear, because the Bible is annulled. So then whatever the religions say, what is wickedness and what is not, is because they have their own code of rules. If I'm Catholic, they're going to give me 10 commandments also that were reformed. And with their own right, they reformed it because they created them. They created them. The Adventists say they changed the law, but the law no longer exists. So then they made their own law. The Adventists made their own law, and they said, it's all on all the Torah except for the 10 commandments. But the rest, no, except for the laws of the food. No, wait, hold on. The foods of the law, the ritual laws and laws, but it has nothing to do with the commandments. Oh no, those are still. If you eat pork, you keep the Shabbat, you're going to die. Why? Because the Adventist Church defined it so, because they wanted to. By interpretation. Nothing but interpretation. We can add another one. Tithes. That about tithes. If you don't give tithes, and you don't eat pork, if you don't give tithes, and you don't, or let's say different, you keep the 10 commandments. Let's suppose that you keep them. You keep the 10 commandments, you don't eat pork, but if you don't give tithes, then you also go to hell, because he that sinneth in one, in other words, he that breaketh one commandment, breaketh them all, it says. Well, good thing our justice isn't that way, because if I were to steal something, good thing they don't also tack on rape, murder, and something else. They're saying, oh, you stole something here, let's blame you for all the commandments. Good thing our justice isn't like that. The biblical one is dog shit. One that breaks them all. Shove that well up your ass, okay? And we're being chill here when you understand the insanity of a law, a pernicious law like the Torah. He that breaketh one breaks them all. Wow, why? I didn't know you break them all, it says in James. Taking that out. The Adventists say, okay, you keep the Shabbat? Yes. You keep the law? Yes. You eat pork? No, I don't eat. You eat fish? Like seafood? No, I don't. You give tithes? Yes. You accept LGBTQ? No. Oh, no, you don't? No, then you're not going. You're not going. And that's all. That's how we can continue to add. If you break one, you break them all. That is why the laws emitted by these entities are no good. Right now, there's no law for us on behalf of God. None. Because the one who gave them annulled them. Those that the churches give, we don't belong to those churches, they're no good for us. If we were members of those churches, well, you have to live according to the norms of those churches, or else just leave that church. Am I going to criticize them? I will, because I don't belong to those churches. But if I were to belong to a church, I would say, hey, if you want to belong to this group, then do what they say, no, or not. If I'm Catholic, then I have to go and confess myself, and I have to go to the First Communion, and I have to do a whole bunch of things if I'm Catholic. And if my baby's born, I have to go get him baptized if I'm Catholic. And you have to do it. That's the rule of the church. And I have to not eat meat on the certain days of Thursdays, or one of those days. I can't remember. What was it? That's the one. Thank you for the Catholic. I was never a Catholic. That's why I need the Catholics to help me to know what it was done. And I think it's okay for them to be ruled by that law. The Adventists have another set of rules, completely different. And I lived by those laws. And when I would break them, I knew that I was breaking those laws, and then would ask to be forgiven for breaking those laws, because I was an Adventist. If I'm an Adventist, I have those laws. Or else I'm not an Adventist. Nobody can say I'm a Seventh-day Adventist and I don't keep the Shabbat. No, then you're not a Seventh-day Adventist. No, you're not. You're not. Because if you were, You are playing with the rules that they give you there. I want to play soccer, but I want to play with 15 players. No, you can't play soccer with 15 players. They're like, no, I'm going to play soccer, but I want rules. Anyone can touch it with the ball, with the hand. We have all the defenders, all the defenders, and they're all goalies. No, there's rules. We have to defend them by a judge, or else you can't play. If we don't have rules defined, you cannot play soccer. That's the way it is. It's all handled by rules. When you break them, there's a penalty. There has to be a penalty. You have to know that you went past a limit. Your liberty is what is marked by the law. We'll talk about this later on. We don't have any laws of God, none. I'm talking about none, just like that. Zero laws, zero laws. I want to make that very clear. So then what laws rule us? First of all, it's the laws in the country where you live in. You better fulfill them or I'll just leave. If you can't fulfill the rules of the country where you live, whether you call it Babylon or wherever you live, then leave that country because you're living under those rules. You're living under those rules. If you don't comprehend that concept, then you'll never adapt to what the rules are. To drive, you need those rules. To go to a job, you need those rules. You go to a job and they say, look, the rules are this. If you get here late, and once you get here late 3 times, we let you go. Those are the rules of the company. 3 times you get here late, we fire you. We could care less why. We could care less, no, because your dog, your mom, or something got sick, or your tire got popped, or whatever. We could care less. 3 times you get here late, it could be stupid like that. But I've seen companies like that. Let's suppose that it's a rule like that. That's it. The rule is that you want to play with those rules. You want to work in that company, you play with those rules, period. You have no other option, or else just leave that company. Leave that company. No, because they pay a lot. Then do follow the rules. If they say lunch to eat, it's 15 minutes. And if you don't take it, it's your problem. Whether you eat or not, you have your 15 minutes. So then one might say, I stayed there playing, working, and I missed it. No, then you missed it. No, I want to take it now. No, it's not whenever you want. It's when precisely. I'm just giving an example. I'm just giving whatever examples here. Sometimes we want to force the rules. The only way is to leave where we're at. If you're not in accordance with the rules where you are, leave. I was not in accordance with the Adventist Church, and I left. Because the rules for me were that I had to accept the Trinity, and I didn't accept it. And Leslie and I left right there. We didn't make a revolution there from within. No, I left. We left. That's it. It's over. I don't accept their rules. I don't belong to your nest. I don't belong to anything that the Adventist Church has to do. That's it. I'm out of here. If I work in a company and says this is the new rules, so then I'll leave. I used to work in a company where I would hand out magazines, and they would pay me for a special route, let's say $150, and I would do it in 3 hours. In 3 hours, I would do it. Why? Because I was quick. I was very quick. I was quick working, and I would do an impeccable job. When all the rest had to do that same job, 5 hours, I would do it in 3. So then they gave me 2 routes. And everyone, it would take 8 hours. I would do it in 5 hours. And I would earn $300 per day. Another company arrived because they sold that company. Another company took over and they said, you know what? We're not going to work by routes, but by hour. And I said, oh, yes? Okay, I quit. I left. With Leslie, we used to work there. And we said, what? How much are you going to pay me? By the hour? No. My hour is worth a lot more. I work per route as I've always done. You don't like what they offer you in a place, then leave. That's it. It's over. I'm not going to work that way. The rules changed. I'm out of here. That's it. It's over. And I left. We left. And that's the way. That's simple as that. Those are the rules. Those rules are there to be fulfilled or just leave. The rules are there or leave. And that goes in a house also. Someone comes to your house, your friend, and he comes in with his shoes filled with mud. And one time he says, no, well, I'm free. I'm not going to take my shoes off when I come in. No, I'm not going to take my shoes. Comes again. And you tell them, hey, you're not going to enter. What do you mean? I have freedom. You're my friend. I want to. No, you're not going to enter. You're not going to enter. I want to have the privilege. No, you're not going to enter. It could be your dad. It could be your brother. You're not going to enter. Not with those shoes because it's my house, my rules. From here on out, you're going to take your shoes out. And not just that. Since you said you have that they sting, then you can wash your feet. What? That's a humiliation. Then don't enter my house. You don't come to my house because you're going to enter. Taking your shoes off and washing your feet because it's my house, it's my rules. And every house has its rules. And that's it, it's over. It's simple as that. You don't like them, then don't go to that house. Don't go and impose your own rules to that house. Ever. Ever. Because it's not your house, it's not your territory. So then, when I speak to you about justice, I'm trying to show you clearly what justice is. Justice is based in rules. There's no such thing of justice without rules. Why does God choose a group of people to give him this earth, like all the story that I was telling you, in the end of it all, it was subjugated as an injustice to give to a group of people, whomever it might be, to say, you're the kingdom, and kingdom, since you're kings, and since you're eternal, you're not ever going to die. And he tells them, no one will take your kingdom is eternal. It will never be taken over. You're kings forever. Kings, you live, and you will, for eternity, be kings. What are the rules? It is very simple. Did you love justice? And you abhorred wickedness. Those are the rules. Yes, those are the rules. That is why he anoints you and God anoints you. But what about the Ten Commandments? You love justice and abhor wickedness. And so then the rules are very, very wide. What is wickedness and what is justice? That'll be determined by Yahweh at the end of times. Who is the group that deserves to rule the earth? Not the rest. The rest will never do. There's no position to be kings again. There's not that, oh, I wanted to be a king. I want to be a king. No, you won't ever be a king. Absolutely, because you demonstrated that you did not love justice. In fact, you loved wickedness. From the concept of Yahweh, because there's no book exactly of what wickedness is and what is justice. To know what is wickedness, what is justice, he wasn't going to do something random, something just by chance. He says, I'm going to show you a guide because I'm forming a Messiah. A Messiah is a Messiah that is made up by many people. We don't have the number, but it's a Messiah that's plural. When I talk about a Messiah, it's not one person. It's a group of people. Messiah is translated to government. It's translated to kingdom. Kingdom. That is the Messiah. When a person sees whatever person that is a king on earth, it's the Messiah. But it's no longer going to be called Messiah. It's just like we don't call the government the Messiah. It's called the government. It's the government. That is the government. We don't have kings, or else we would say the king. We don't have more than one king, or else there would be 12 kings or 100 kings. In different charges, different offices, different places, different things. But the Messiah is not one person, it is the government. The government. When I talk about in singular or plural or singular, I'm not referring to only one person. I'm referring to a group of kings, which is the Messiah of the earth. And it's not the Messiah like you imagine a Messiah. No. It is the government. The government. It's just that it is used in prophetic words and concealed words. It's the government. The Messiah that we have now, that was anointed king, it is these that rule us. Those are the Messiahs of now, of course. And what reign do we live in now? In the government of Yahweh. Those that are living now are the kingdom of Yahweh. This is the kingdom of Yahweh. When did the kingdom of Yahweh begin? From the moment in which he created the earth or the space. And he said, I'm going to create everything that is God's reign. It's always been, and it will always be until it is no longer the kingdom of Yahweh. And he hands it over. Once he hands over this property that he created, which is the kingdom of Yahweh, he'll hand it over to that group of people and says, now the kingdom is yours. Now you deal with it. It is yours. Now it becomes the kingdom of the Messiah, no longer Yahweh's, of the Messiah. Until now, it's Yahweh's kingdom. I was born in Yahweh's kingdom. Adam and Eve were born in government of Yahweh. He says, I set kings and I take away kings. That's his kingdom. Those rulers have the title of kings. He sets them and takes them out. Since they are mortal, and they die. And he says, I want this here, this here, this here, this here. It's his kingdom. We've always lived in his kingdom. What do the religions teach us? That it is when, well, the kingdom of God come, you're living in it. We're always living in God's kingdom. Who the fuck is this kingdom? Of course, God's. Of course, it's God's. I'm going to create it in 6 days, he says. In 6 days, I'll create this kingdom prophetically. In the 7th day, I'll rest. I won't do anything. Why? Because I want to rest. That rest is precisely the handing over of the kingdom unto other kings. Kings that will receive the kingdom forever. So then, I want you to understand something. You were born in the kingdom of God, and you will pass on to the kingdom of the Messiah. It will no longer be called the Messiah. The Messiah is prophetic. It's the new kingdom. You got the old kingdom and the new kingdom. The new kingdom cometh once the kingdom of Yahweh cometh. The kingdom of Yahweh is about to end. It's about to end. It's about to conclude. Very few years are left for it to end. And Yahweh says, very well, I've done this for my son. My son is plural. My son is these kings. How do the kings, were they going to understand they're going to receive something, prepare themselves, and understand the concept of justice? Because it's impossible to have kings that don't even know each other and that don't understand everyone and understand anything. And all of a sudden, it would be world war of the kings. If Yahweh makes a kingdom to grow here, a final one, right? A kingdom here and a king there, nobody knows each other. They're all different. Everyone thinks whatever they want, and everyone has a different concept of justice, because everyone will have a different concept of justice. Then he says, I'll give you your kingdom, fix it. No, hold on. There's going to be war of the kings, because as it turns out, they're going to have different concepts. And to top it off, they're going to have power to fight amongst each other. It'll be the war of the gods. Are you following me? There won't be a way of changing it. It says, no, hold on. God anointed me as I am. And the concept of my justice is this. As I am. So then, he chose me. He says, it'll be completely different. So then how the fuck are they going to reign together? It's going to be complete awfulness. Just pure, worse than this one. That is not the promise. That is why in all of the biblical story, if people were to pay attention to all my teachings in conjunction to totally, he says, okay, there's a kingdom of justice and justice. I'm going to send you a guide. I'm going to send you I call him the angel of my covenant. What is the covenant? To hand over the kingdom. I'm going to call him so that he unites them, so that the group of kings has one sole concept of justice, so that you feel that they belong to each other, so that they feel something of belonging amongst them. So that when I unite them, they're going to be happy of joining. Not of saying, what about this guy? Who's this guy? What about this guy? No, he believes something different. No, I want to form a nation of kings that think equally, or else it wouldn't work. It would work. It wouldn't work. It could never work. You have to have an equal concept, all of them. We have to form a way of thinking, which is a people, let's say, because they're few, but they're kings. And that they were already formed before receiving power. Because if they were to receive, when I talk about power, it would seem mystical, it would seem magical, like the words that they use. No, it's the handing over of the earth and power to exercise it, or else, I mean, obviously, let's start with an eternal life. They could not exercise power because they would be mortal. So then, in this biblical story, those kings have to have a unity, and that they are willing to work together. So then, the only way of doing that is by sending someone, so that that someone can form the group, so that that someone can train the group, so that that someone gives them the concept of justice of the group, not that they have, but the unified justice. And those that agree, those that actually see things that way, they belong to that group. Those who are not in agreement, they won't ever belong to that group. Because that group is not renewable. It's not renewable. What I'm saying is a biblical story. Why is it difficult to understand this point? Malachi chapter 4. or a 3, whatever version you may have, it says, where is the Elohim of justice? Everything would seem that you always bless the wicked, and it's true, because it's God's kingdom. That's why the wicked rule with a purpose. So it says, okay, I'll send them the Elohim of justice. The Elohim of justice, what he will do is that he'll sit and purify them like he does silver. That is where the word comes from. Silver. The word silver in the original of Latin is argentum. The word argentum is silver. Not just silver, but rather crystalline. It is a characteristic of silver. The nation, or the Argentinian Republic, bears the name of Argentina because it's precisely, they first called it the River of La Plata, because all the rivers came of everything of the mines where they would mine silver. So then all the ships would go through the river of the silver, and they also say that they would see something that would shine, that would seem like it was silver. They called it that. The Rio de la Plata, the river of silver, and the nation around it was called silver, Argentina. Argentina means silver. Argentum, silver, crystalline. So then, when I understand this biblical part, I translated the name Argentina to that nation of kings that would rule the world. Not the old Argentina. I could care less about the old Argentina. When I say you are Argentinian, I'm not referring to Argentinian. I'm not saying go and get a citizenship in Argentina and leave yours, but bring me the Argentinian. Wow, you have to be actually retrograde to believe that. When I say you're Argentinian, I'm speaking in parables. The people from the outside, I imagine they won't understand, but you, after having known me for years on end, years, you have to understand when I say you're Argentinian, you belong to a new nation, a silver nation that is being cleansed, and an Elohim of justice is coming to cleanse it, to polish it so that it is silver. And I'm talking silver so pure that it's transparent, that it has no smudges. It is the only way of doing that special group. So then when I say we are an Argentinian nation, I'm not referring to the old one. Now, that old Argentina is a symbol, because precisely I was born in that old Argentina. The colors that they have are the colors that actually are the most appropriate of the flag. They have the most beautiful national anthem. There's none. I don't give a fuck where you were born. I could give a fuck. I've heard all the national anthems of the world. They're dog shit. All of them. They're, no matter if Mexico, Peru, Chile, Bolivia, Brazil, Spain, that doesn't even have a hymn. Let's start with that. They don't have a hymn. Germany, the US, whatever, they're all nasty. They're all nauseous completely. There's only one lyric that is spectacular. But if that bothers you, I want you to leave right now from here. This very moment, because you haven't understood my words. I don't want to polish you anymore. I want you to fuck off today. The words, monumental words of saying, let the laurels be eternal. That, how's it go? I want you to record that we knew how to achieve what else follows. Crowned with glory, let us live, or we swear. The hymn says, let us swear with glory to die. There is no more noble words. Hear, O mortals, the sound of broken chains. Just imagine them. Hear that, O mortals, the sound. You know what the sound is? Of the chains of slavery that fall to the ground. Hear that sound. How the Argentinian national anthem is giving you a majestic explanation of what liberty is. You are bound to chains and fall and see how the chains fall to the ground. Hear, O mortals, the sound of those broken chains that fall. What is the word? Liberty, liberty, liberty. There's no hymn, no matter if you're from, if you make your own stupid national anthem. We are, shove it up in your ass. Your fucking national anthem. There's no other one that's more beautiful than the Argentinian ones. And I'm not saying that you have to be Argentinian in the old style, but of a new national nation. I take that symbol, I take it, I want for everyone to hear the sound of the cover of the chains of the lies that fall to the floor. They will hear it. They will hear it when the cover is broken, which are the chains that has humanity enchained. They'll hear it. Hear the sound of broken chains. Liberty, liberty, liberty. So then, I take that symbol and I say, there's no more appropriate symbol than this one. And why? Because I'm not an idiot. God made me intelligent. And made me be born in a nation that's appropriate. In order to know that hymn, to understand that we're creating a new Argentina. A new Argentina of people that were not born in Argentina. Some were born, not others, that doesn't matter. We're creating a new nation of different nationalities, races, colors, and cultures. But we have to have only one sense. We take what's the best of that. I take what the best is. For some reason or another, God wanted, and those that have something that they have against it, it's not my problem that those who would join this, because that's the way I believe it, that's the way I believe it, and that's the way I live this, those who would join those kings to be born in that Argentinian old republic that has nothing to do with this one, in the new Argentina, that is born there, because maybe he even formed that nation to take out what he wanted. Maybe even he wrote the national anthem, or also has no explanation. Makes no sense otherwise. Why precisely is it that the best national anthem is there? Because I would have taken it from whatever country. I'll tell the truth that from whatever other country is dog shit. It's dog shit. Simple as that. It's complete dog shit. Crap. Complete crap. The national Argentinian anthem is the most beautiful. Why? I'm sure because God created it. There's no other reason. Whether you like it or not, I could give a fuck if you're Colombian. I could give a fuck if you're Peruvian or Ecuadorian or Spaniard and you don't have a hymn. I could give a fuck. What the fuck do I care about? Evidently, God did not want for the one that would speak to you about this subject, the one that was to join a group to understand this, precisely not to be Spaniard. He tells it to your face he didn't want a Spaniard. He tells it to your face he didn't want a Spaniard. He wanted someone that first of all to be born in the new earth. The new earth is America. The old continent is the old continent. It's as if to say it belongs to the old part of the creation. America was not discovered until the 6th millennium. Just like that. Yeah, there were Indians and all that, but we're talking about the discovering of Europe. 1442, they tell the story, whatever, but we're talking about in the 6th millennium. If we're talking about the 6th millennium, it means that Eden, prophetically speaking, is in America. That God created Adam and Eve in the 6th day at the end. Man and woman were born in America, not in Asia or Europe. That's obvious. I mean, more than obvious. I mean, do I have to tell it to you? Prophetically speaking, so all you won't understand. People get offended. They get offended. I could give a fuck how many people get offended with my words. It's an honor that they get honored. You can all fuck off to your mother bitch that bore you. But I will tell you the truth, biblically speaking. Maybe you don't believe it. And if you don't believe it, why are you listening to me? Go form your own truth of the Bible. Of course, but don't steal anything from here. Don't go and say that they all have to be saved. Don't go and say, this earth, God will give it to one human being. No, because I taught you that. I taught you that. You hadn't a fucking idea. Not the fucking least idea of anything. Of absolutely nothing. You were a filthy flea that didn't know a thing. So then to come here and to say, oh, how beautiful what I learned. Now I'm going to go fuck off. That, you have to be a complete dog shit. But I'll take everything that I learned. You made me free. Thank you. You're dog shit sheep that's saying that group. It was all, you're all seals that applaud and the fucking bitch that bore you. If somebody thinks that way, ungrateful traitors, you have to say, I unlearn everything that I learned this dog shit group. It's no good. I go back to where I came back. Go back to my religion. I'll go worship Jesus. I will get circumcised since I'm in messianism. But the very least gratefulness in that you don't copy anything, because the mentality that is formed was formed of the eternal truth. The way of thinking, of questioning everything was formed of the eternal truth. And to say that those that are in the eternal truth, that you're sheep, that you are seals. There is hate inside, complete hate inside, that you could never even imagine. So then, God said, I'm going to form a group. That group has to be formed by someone. Someone has to join it. And it's prophesized. Precisely, the one that I send you will join all of you, wash you. It'll be an Argentum group. And they will be prepared for my purpose. That's all. It's like that, absolutely. That's all. That's all that the eternal truth is. The text of the invitation, I'm not going to read it because it'll be applied for next Shabbat. We're in war between Israel and Iran. I could give a fuck about that. Tell the truth, I could give a fuck. If I watch the news, they don't tell me the truth. If Iran is destroying a whole bunch of valuable things of Israel, like I've heard elsewhere, the news are not going to tell you. They're not going to show you the destruction that Iran is causing to Israel, if that is even true. So, I don't care. Those are Yahweh's plans, that they fight each other. Let them fight each other. Or not. I give a fuck. It is not my function. So then, I give a fuck. I do care, because then they go, I do care, but I can't do anything, not even to know the truth. If I were to tell you, no, I heard in the news this and that, and I get on the side of those that are hurting, if it's a lie, so then I cannot tell you the truth about that. I can't say it because I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what will happen. I don't know. I know something, that the nukes don't exist. That I do know. We don't have the nuclear capacity. It's been all a lie. I do know that. So then from the time in which they accuse that they're making nukes, it doesn't exist. They've never existed. I know that. So then I know when they're liars. I'm not going to give it way too much importance to the news. I'll just kind of watch them, but I'm not going to comment. The Spirit is the one that quickeneth. The words that I speak unto you, they are spirit and they are life. I'm going to read for the very last time and do away with the subject of Isaiah 27. The very last time for now in this subject. Isaiah 27, on that day Yahweh, it's referring to the Messiah, the new God, the group of kings that will rule over the earth. And he will punish with his sword the Leviathan. Obviously, this is a symbolism of wickedness, injustice, everything that sin is. The Leviathan, and he will kill the dragon that is in the sea. The dragon is the system, Babylonian system, not the Babylonian system. It's not all evil, of course not. In fact, I tell you, it's been the best system of government on earth. Of course, it's been the most righteous one, of course. But it has to be destroyed also because of that. Because it's not the system, the true one. the true one of justice. This whole creation was not for Babylon to rule. This whole creation was to hand it over to a group of kings. That is all the creation, no more than that. That's it. It's so complex. But just in some words that are what is the hope that I'm giving you? Why are you listening to me? That this has a limit time. The time of the reign of Yahweh is ending. And he'll hand over this kingdom unto the Messiah. You cannot hear any better message anywhere in the world. Anywhere in the world. Whether you're a part of that group, whether we're a part of that group or not, this will be fulfilled. It'll be fulfilled. And it'll be convenient that whether we're a part of that group or not. Who wouldn't want to live in a kingdom that a Messiah comes and does everything righteous? And I understand and say, wow, this is actually beautiful because I can learn. I have eternal life. I have everything, a whole eternity to learn everything that I want. Why do I want to be a part of the government? Of course not. Of any side that you have to be in, it's spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. On whatever side. The thing is, Yahweh is the one that sets kings and takes away. So then Yahweh is the one that sets and takes away kings. It's never, not even our decision to be a part of this. There's a pre-programming that when you don't belong, you don't belong. There comes a point, something that is a trigger that it would seem that like you do belong, and all of a sudden, what'd he say? No, I can't accept this. I'm out of here. This is dog shit. It was a trigger that was pre-programmed, and there's nothing that you can't do or anyone that can do anything to stop it. You don't belong to this group, period. You leave. That's it. You don't belong, and not ever again do you belong. Because we know that it took a trigger in your mind in which kicked yourself out, and there's no need for anyone to kick you. You left yourself. Because there's something that you cannot accept. Why? Because there's a trigger placed inside already. A trigger planted. That it was in. I like it. And then it cannot be. It cannot be. No, I cannot accept this. This is dog shit. And everything that you had thought that was magnificent before, it is no longer. Or at least you think it's magnificent, but not that. That you cannot accept. And that's it. It's over. It's automatic. That's it. Out. Because you never belonged. That is the point. People that leave the eternal truth, that they never belong to the eternal truth. You may have been in the eternal truth for a long time, many years, but once it's something that you cannot no longer belong, it is because you never belonged. I want that to be clear. It would seem that you belonged. It would seem that you were a part, integral part, but there is something that kicked you out. It's because you never belonged in the first place. And as it turns out, there will come a point that triggers you. Sometimes it's as soon as they come in, they just hear some words, 2-3 words, and they are triggered that same day. They say, oh no, forget this guy. Others that are a month or two, oh, how beautiful, I love it. What? He said, oh no, not this. Okay, bye. It's the trigger precisely that you have to leave. There is an exit. And those that are not, no one will ever be by luck. This is called predestination. The kings that will rule on earth are predestined to rule, and there's nothing that they can do, nor anything from the outside to do to be kings, and there's nothing from the kings to do for them to leave. This is predestined, like Adam and Eve were predestined to be Adam and Eve. Like I said, we don't want to be Adam and Eve. Oh, you don't want to? You will be Adam and Eve. And David? No, I don't want that. I'm waiting. I want a sheep taker. You're going to be a king. But what I'm going to do is going to be awful. You're going to do so. You're going to do so because I want you to. So then every biblical character was predestined. The Bible tells you, Isaiah, you knew me since before I was born. You placed my name before I was born. Every biblical character is not by chance. It's not a product of what do I need? Oh, this one's good. This one's going to be good. Let's go ahead and use this guy. I'm going to use this guy today. No. Every last one, every biblical character was predestined to do that role. Predestined for that role. If that is so, then the last kings of the earth are all predestined, whether they know it or not. Either way, the disciples never imagined that they would be disciples of Jesus. He went and called them. Did they have a chance? No, they didn't have a chance. One came to fight it. He said, "What for?" I came to see who it was. "Oh yeah, I saw you praying over there below the sycamore tree. You're a true Israelite." And I knew. When Yahweh calls you, he calls you. When he says, you were chosen. Everyone chosen by whom? By him. Not by the disciples. Every last one that came, "Hey, I want to be your disciple. Can I follow you?" He says, "Oh, but you have a lot of properties, right? Sell them all." That was his trigger. He was like, "No, but hold on, I have too many properties. You want to follow me? You want to be?" I'm not asking the others because they want them to follow me. They have more properties than you. He can have them, but you want to follow me? Then sell them all. That's unfair. I don't like what you say. Then go fuck off. That's what the Bible says. And he left. Why? Because it was a trigger. It was a trigger. Others said, "Hey, your words are too harsh, then fuck off." And the disciples, he told them, "What about you? You want to leave too?" "Where the fuck are we going to go?" They said. They couldn't leave. Just like that, they could not leave. Even if they wanted to, they couldn't leave. "Where am I going to go?" He said, "We've already played all our chips here." Not even Judas wanted to leave the table, and it says that the devil had to enter for him to rise up. He didn't want to. He didn't want to. "Who of you will hand me over?" "No one." "Who? Is it me, Lord?" "No." "Yes, you will hand me over." Nobody wanted to. And says, "Okay, the devil entered him and he handed him over." That's the way it is. So then, the final kings, let it be whomever they may be. I'm not talking about the eternal truth, whatever group. If it's in Africa and the group is being from there, let's suppose, those who are chosen by Yahweh himself. Since before they were born, they were chosen. And no matter what they do or stop doing, they'll be the kings. Like Jonah. You're going to do and say what I say. And those that want to add themselves to that group of kings, of course, that it's surprisingly, of course, it's seductive. The message that I have, it's the most spectacular message that the world has ever received. It's true. But how arrogant, those are the words that they call me. Security is confused with arrogance. There's no more spectacular message than that of the eternal truth. Of course, that within the nets, all types of fishes will come in, like scorpions, all kinds of things. Impure. Let's give that symbolism, impure. And they all want to belong because they like it. I want to belong. But there will come a point that you'll no longer belong. By yourself. Because there's something that triggered you. Because you're not a king. You were never a king. You won't ever be a king. You're not a queen. You were never a queen, and you won't ever be. You got your hopes up with something that you don't belong to. That is for every single one of the people that left. Other people left. But then they came back. They came back because they could not resist it. Why? Because there was something that made them come back. Could that happen? Yes, of course that could happen. Of course that can happen. Of course that can happen. But sometimes when the people leave, they show who they are. So then, the kings that will rule the world are chosen by the creator of the world as also the one that was going to get them together, the one that was going to give them a new spirit, a feeling of belonging, that would give them a flag, that would give them an identity. That was chosen by Yahweh, not by me. And out of all the existing nations in the world, he chose one nation that can make you blow up. It is made for you to blow up. And if you blow up way too much, there's the door. Maybe that's your trigger. Because maybe you expected somebody from your own language, your nation, your culture, Of course, it's a shock. Of course, it's a shock. But those who are and belong to the predestination, exclusive predestination of the Creator, there's no one that can take them out. In fact, they like it. They like what they hear, even if it cannot be explained. Those who don't belong, there comes a point where they don't like what they hear. I'll read on with the text that I was reading. On that day, sing about the vineyard of the red wine. I, Yahweh, that Yahweh is the new king or group of kings. I, Yahweh, do keep it every moment. I water it. I shall keep it day and night so that no one may hurt it. That is why Yahweh gives the kingdom to that group. That group that they understood a level of justice. There's no anger in me. Who will go up against me in battle? Thorns and thistles. I will crush them. I will burn them at once. Or will somebody force my fortress? Let him make peace with me. Yes, let him make peace with me. Has he been hurt as whom hurt him, or slain as those who slayed him? With measure you shall punish them. In their buds he removes them with a strong wind in the day of the southern wind. In this way, the iniquity of Jacob shall be pardoned. Jacob is a symbolism of the new citizens. You get the kings and the new citizens. And this will be the whole fruit, the removal of their sin. What is the sin? Their wickedness, their injustice. How do you remove it? How do you remove it? By teaching them, giving them just laws, righteous laws, giving them a moment for them to practice, because it is in the practice that justice is made. The removal of their sin. When they do all the stones of the altars, talking about the religions, starting with religion as the chalk stones that are turned into powder, and no symbols of Asherah shall be brought up, or of the sun or the pagan, of no God. We've studied this last Shabbat 10. For the fortified city will be the capital of the kings. It's not that all the kings will live there, because the kings will live wherever they want to live, but they'll have their house also in a capital. And in that capital, it'll be the General Congress of the kings, which is the Supreme Court of Justice, where everything will be debated, where everything will be created, where every king will give his opinion of saying, I think that we should do this. And amongst the kings, they shall say, is it convenient or not? Let's test that. Tell the truth, we could change it. There's no despot saying, this is how things will be done. No, it is a group of people of the highest rank and intelligence and wisdom that no other being on earth has, except for those kings, and they will see how they will planify the world amongst them all, That's the way it'll be. The reign of those kings. There's a reason why they're kings. Where did I leave off from? For the fortified city is the capital of that kingdom. Pardon me. No, I misread it. The fortified city is Babylon in this case. Sometimes it says what the city is, which one is not. The fortified city will be left desolate. In other words, in this case, the symbol is Babylon, which represents the government, the power, will be left desolate. The inhabited city will be abandoned and be left as a desert. All this is symbolism. It means that all the powers and justice and the gods and the government will be left unused and left desolate completely. It will stop existing. What Babylon is. When their branches withered, as they will be broken, women will come to set fire to them, because that is not a people of understanding. It's saying that it's going to be a minutious destroying of every lie. Even fire will be set fire what is left. What does that mean? That every lie will be placed and exposed, so that people learn the truth, not just because we're criticizing. No, we want to know the truth. I want to know the truth in every aspect. I want to know with all the proofs and conversations who brought down the towers, who killed Kennedy, and so many things of what has happened, the First World War, Second World War, what's happening now. That's nothing. I want to know the whole history of humanity, and that is precisely what we will discover for us and for humanity. What is the truth of everything? What has happened on this earth? Everything. It'll be something marvelous, because we're going to live in a kingdom of truth. The people will always have the possibility of being unrighteous. That is clear, or else we would not be free. So then it says, I'll read on. Where was I? The fortified city will be left desolate, the inhabited city abandoned and left as a desert, and the sheep will be there, and blah, blah, blah. 11. When its branches are withered, they will be broken. Women will set fire to them, because that is not a people of understanding. Of course, Babylon is not a people of understanding. Babylon doesn't understand a thing. It is because of because of the lies that they have. Therefore, their maker shall not have mercy on them. It doesn't mean that he's going to kill them. It's talking about that the system and their lies that will be destroyed. No shall have mercy on them, he that formed them. It shall take place on that day that Yahweh, from the river Euphrates till the torrent of Egypt, and you, the children of Israel, will be joined one another. What does this mean? It means that Yahweh, or the new God, the kings of the earth, will gather person by person. It's not just a whole bunch of a flock. It's something that'll take 1,000 years, the first part of the job. And then after that, I don't know how many thousands of years after that. All those that are dead now. It is a laborious job, but very gratifying for those that do it, because it is to create a new kingdom. And every new kingdom will be one by one. Like I told you, it's not going to be 10,000 that enter. Oh no. One by one. Because everyone has to understand where they're entering, who they are, who their kings are. They have to understand that. If they don't accept their kings as if to say, I don't want to live here. That's why it says, and ye shall be gathered together one by one. And Israel is the entire world. So then, how do I translate this text? Every human being of the earth will be gathered together one by one. One by one, they will enter into the kingdom. One by one, they'll enter into the kingdom. How is that done? Like when you go to get sworn into citizenship. It shall also take place on that day that a great trumpet will be sounded, and those who were left in Assyria will be gathered together, and those in Egypt as well. And they will adopt. What does that mean? It is very simple. Very simple. It's talking about the entire world. What Israel is, those who were spread out, dispersed into Assyria, Babylon, Assyria and Babylon, same thing. And those who were dispersed in Egypt, another symbol of Babylon, which is an even more pagan. So it doesn't matter where they were thrown, not Israel, but the entire world. Where were you born? They will hear a strong trumpet. What is the strong trumpet? It's a symbolism. They'll hear a calling that will seduce them. They will want. That trumpet could be a resurrection, It could be a calling to live in a kingdom if they want to. They hear the trumpet. Do you want the calling? They desire it. That's why it says they shall come. And what will they do? They shall worship Yahweh. Who's Yahweh? The gods, the kings, the government. And what is that worship? To accept the conditions. To accept the conditions of these are the rules, these are the laws. We will learn, we will change, be born again, because all were lies inherited from our parents. That is what it is to worship. Not to worship kneeling. Oh, we worship. No, not that. That's not worship. To worship is to agree to fulfill the laws and norms and accept the new government. Obviously, not just simply will they accept it by convenience, they will love him. That is what the scripture says. They will love those kings. Because in all their experience, never have they ever seen something like that. Whatever they need, they will have an answer to. What they see that's unfair, they'll explain why, and they will show it to them what would happen if it were in the way that they thought. So then they will come to develop love. A love like as what they are, gods, those kings. Because love will be complete gratefulness. And yes, we could say true gratefulness, but it doesn't sound right. They'll be complete gratefulness. They will be singing with joy because all of their dreams that they've ever had can be fulfilled. Because all of their frustrations will stop existing. All of their pain, losses, death, of old age, that government will change them. He will return their dead. He will yield life to them, youth also. How are they not going to love that government? They're going to love them. It's incomprehensible. For me, it's incomprehensible. I can't even fathom it. When it comes says you want to be younger, 20 more years, and then later we'll give you life for you to not grow old, for you to... Wow, I mean, forget it. And the dogs you lost or parents or whatever you want to resurrect, I have power to do so. I mean, I'll end up loving him, whomever he might be, whomever. He would be God for me. Just like that. My God, my God. Absolutely my God. That is a God. Those kings are gods. They're gods because of what they will be. They're gods because of their authority. The people will love them, will worship them in the sense of, like one says, I worship. I can compare it with a love that gives us very little, but a love that you have for a club, for example, Boca. For me, that is just a glimpse that gives us a little bit, that doesn't really give you anything, just lets me watch football, makes me happy more than I'm always upset, actually, but that, no, we love them. Because I'm a Bostero, a Boca fan since I was born. Imagine a being that were to tell me, Christian, do you want to have life? Life, you have to live in my kingdom, not just life. You'll be able to develop, study whatever you want. I mean, it doesn't enter into our mind what that person will worship. The group of kings. They will the super kings. And I'm talking about that they have them there. That's why it says they will worship Yahweh in the holy mountain in Jerusalem. It's not Yahweh. It's not the holy mountain. It's not Jerusalem. It'll be the new capital of those kings, of those gods, of the new God of the earth. But they're not gods just because you want it to be so. It's not because your awakening was your show. But because God, the Creator, decided it before you even existed. And also decided before you existed that you wouldn't be one of them. You may imitate them. You may want to act like one of them until you stop being one of them, because you're not. To be or not to be. As, who said that? Shakespeare? What did he say? To be or not to be? To be or not to be or nothing. You shall be what you shall be or nothing, and there's nothing you can do about it. You shall be what you must be. As also God chose your gender. You didn't choose it. I want to change that, but that's different. I mean, it'll be open for debate with the gods if they want that or not. You have to make some tests. That's what the gods will do. What do you think if, because they're going to have power, what do you think if we test? Let's see, there are many men that want to be women. Why don't we allow them to? Well, okay. If they don't like it, then we have the change. They can change back. But I'm talking about an entire change, You will be what you want to be, and there's nothing that you will do about it. And if you're not, you're not. Before continuing, and I'll end. And Isaiah ended. I could continue with what comes next. Maybe someday I'll continue because it's very good. I tarried there a lot because I really enjoyed this chapter. Maybe many of you, in your heart, it really bothered you. Why does he have to talk about the Messiah? I'm already sick and tired of the Messiah, the new God, the Messiah. Oh, he's going to talk about the Messiah. I am sick and tired of the Messiah. Because I'm talking to you. Because you have not understood the concept of Messiah. I could give a fuck. The Messiah is a group of people. The Messiah is the government. That is why I spoke about the Messiah so much. The Messiah, what the Messiah would do. Because you can grow sick of it. You may have thought that I was talking about my person. You made a mistake. I told you 1,000 times over. The Messiah is a plural concept. The Messiah is a group of kings. The Messiah is the government. And I spoke a lot about that because it's the future that we have. That's the way it is. That's why I spoke a lot about the Messiah. And whenever the fuck I want to, I'll continue to speak about it. Whatever I think that is, I find that is necessary because the people still don't understand the concept of the Messiah yet. Maybe some think that I'm the Messiah, only one person. It isn't so. It doesn't work that way, and I don't want it to be that way. I don't want that because it's not true. And it wouldn't be correct that way. What is right is that a group of kings, a unity governs the world. That is good. That would be good. Not that one person has the absolute power forever. I don't even want that from God. That is why it says the person that had the power, it was always me, and I'll hand it over to you, says Yahweh. In the kingdom of God. This is the kingdom of God. Now they will pass on to the kingdom of the new God, which they would be gods, which would be the concept of Messiah. But it has to enter into your head. It has to absolutely enter into your head. What is my function here? To join and call, unify, and to make a group of people one. I don't know who they are. I don't know you. I tell the truth, I don't know you. I could see you on Facebook. I could answer emails, but I don't know you. I don't know your character. I don't know anything about you. But it's not my function, and my function is to train you. Or else there's no function. My function is to gather a group together. And when that group is confirmed already, not by me, by the Creator, but we're all a part of creation. But we had to join them all. I know, because in my eyes, it could be a group of ignorant fools, a group of different cultures that I'm saying, like, oh, I'm saying these would, it could be, I'm not saying that it is, I could say, but there's not mine eyes that call, but rather it's Yahweh that calls. It's Yahweh that calls. And that afterward, we receive certain spectacular benefits of powers. That's something else. But in the meantime, what's important is that this group is unified in something. And in something is a unity. Or else they will fight, those gods will, in the future. They will fight. Very awfully so. Just imagine. Just imagine. I'd like to thank Beatriz. I'd like to thank you, Beatriz Ferrazano, for the letter you sent us, Leslie and myself, Angelina and Brian. We're very, very, very thankful. It was beautiful. Many thanks. It really got to our heart. It arrived well. Also, the offerings that you sent us, many thanks. And also, because it's three of them there, right? This is Beatriz. No, they don't live three. It's three friends, right? Three friends. What's the name of the other two friends? I think it was in the letter. Soraya and... Oh, what a disaster. Let me see. It says we're three. There's three of us. Sonia, Fernandez, Soraya, and it's three. See, it's three. It's three. It says three girlfriends. Of course. It arrived well. Exactly. This gift was given to us by Felix. I mean, it's, we're ashamed to show it to you because we've already struck these already. This was delicious. It was like a little, I mean, completely delicious. These are, what are these? Oh, these are spectacular biscuits, all butter, like the way I like. And also, this is great because in oregano, it's spectacular. You don't have to taste them. Many thanks, Felix. He gave us this oil and black seed oil also spectacular. All these supplements are spectacular, and they all arrived. Many things. There's something else that I put in the freezer that were like some candy. Many thanks, Felix. I mean, you overdid yourself. Absolutely, you overdid yourself. We are very, very thankful. Very well. Let's see who gave us a like before someone leaves, and at least they give us a like. Before they leave, before you leave, give us a like. Then you can leave. Very well. I had to present something there? No more. No more. Well, we've closed Isaiah. I was going to begin with a subject that I wanted to develop about prayer, because I see it very important. Maybe it's difficult. Maybe it'll be the trigger for some that leave. Who knows? I don't know. And then after that, I don't know what we'll study. Maybe we'll continue studying instruction that we were studying, the book of Proverbs. We'll see. Now I'm seeing lots of soccer. We have a worldwide soccer. Speaking about Boca, tell you the truth, we played very well with what we have. Against Bayern Munich, $1 billion team, we humbly went with a budget that it was way, infinitely, way less than there. And we gave them a good game. Of course, they're all chosen, especially paid. I told you, it's $1 billion worth team by their speed and everything. I mean, that's fine. It's a selection that wins everything. Bayern Munich, but could they have scored 5 on us? Yes, they could have. But we have balls, and we could have also won. We could have also won if Russo would have been a little bit before in Boca, and if there weren't players that we bought like stupid, like Palacios. Palacios should not be in Boca. The Chilean player, we should kick him in his asshole. Riquelme should do that, and to send him, let him land in Chile. A good kick in his ass, right there. Hey, right there. You should land with your lips. Just a kick right in his asshole. I can't even stand him. When a player, I didn't want him to be bought. I saw him playing. I saw his personality. It is not the skill. It is the intelligence. That guy should never. It is a shame that guy wears the Boca jersey. and I could continue mentioning Marco Rojo, I don't want everyone to see him. Cavani, another kick in the ass, send him to Uruguay. That other Spaniard, kicking his ass for him to land in Spain. If I'm gonna buy players that play 10 minutes and they injure themselves, I'm using to top it off a place of foreigners. No, you need an urgent cleansing. I like when the people leave on their own, but there are some that you have to kick them in their ass. In Boca, Palacios, and kick in the ass. Before Herrera to Spain. Thank you for everything and fuck off. Cavani was never any good. They told us that Cavani was so good, but it was a lie. That he scored, but Cavani was never any good, ever. He never made us win anything. In the final of the Copa Libertadores, in which we suffered when he was able to kick, he didn't kick, he gave it to another. Cavani was a shame. He should never ever be there. I don't ever want to see him again. I don't even want to see him again. I could give a fuck about if he wants to. I don't want to see him again. Cavani, out. Palacios, a kick in his asshole, out. Marcos Rojas, another kick in the asshole, out. Who else? You're like, why do you have to speak like a bucket? Because I fucking want to. Who else? We have to kick a whole bunch of people, okay? A bunch of people. Right now, nobody's coming to mind. Belmonte, he's just someone in the bench. Miramont, he's young, but no, another kick in the ass. Hansen. I mean, Hansen, you gotta put a missile on him to go where he came from. Who else? Chiquita Romero? Oh, but of course, all right, out of here. Fuck off. Never again. Bye. I don't even want to see you. Not in the bench, ever. Fabra. You don't even know who that is because you've never seen him play. One that earns the most there. We're talking about $1 million a year without playing. A kick in his asshole and says, how much do I get the fuck out of here? I don't want to see you again. I don't want to see you again. Who else? With that, the rest, nah. The rest, tell you the truth, the penalty that they charge, in my point of view, it was not his fault. The stupid idiot of Palacios does it, but it's not a penalty because they used to not charge those before. No one has the ball. There is a contact between. There is a contact, a little tiny one, a little penalty like that. But you say it's penalty. No, because they used to not charge those before. Before, they used to not charge that type of faults. But that's fine. Let them shove it up their ass, these sons of bitches. But the top of Palacios did that, which wasn't a penalty. Second of all, we should have won that. If Palacios would have put any blood, a part of his mouth in the game. But no, it would seem as if their entire brain is in their lips. And maybe, wow. There are players, Figal, I always liked him. I tell the truth, I always liked Figal. But he has a very small brain. He's a defender that hasn't played in a long time. He had been operated, and then he played and they kicked him out. When he ever kicked that, I never saw it. Maybe I'm dumb or something, but I've seen all the videos. I saw him live. I never seen. Oh, he kicked a brutal. I've never seen it. I see a fault like this, but not as a red. Did you know that these sons of bitches, how much they gave Figal for that kick that I never saw? That you tell me, yeah, I saw it. It was okay. Think whatever you want. It should just be a yellow, and that's it. How many times did they suspend him? Four times. Do you know how many suspension days that they gave to the one that kicked Elton Costa here? A karate kick here, 2. So then they're like, what's going on? Because they always want shit on Boca. So then AFA, the Argentinian Soccer Association, asked for them to not give 4 dates to Elton Costa. The Spaniard gave him 10, 20, I don't give a fuck. He just came to vacation. I want to feel the experience in Boca. No, my guy, That's not the way to do things like that. Don't come to see what the Boca experience, or that you want to play, or fuck off to your mother's cunt. I want to feel what it is to play in Boca, but I'm gonna hurt Boca. I always want to feel that experience. Maybe it'd be great for me to be their leader. Later I'll be, maybe not now. Someday I'll be. For now I won't. So then I cannot come to see the experience. You want to see the experience? Go play. Go to the Museum of La Boca. That'd be great. But don't come here to fuck our lives up. Fuck off, Herrera. He also kicked him out of here. He was out already when he tried to fight with somebody, and then as it turns out, they got the EFA for the FIFA to remove those dates, reduced it to 2 dates, which is logical. 2 dates. I don't even know why they kicked him out. Okay, 2 dates. So 2 dates, kicked him out. Maybe you saw the kick, which I still try to see it and I can't find it. There's no key kick. Might be just a grazing, but nothing more than 2 dates. It's excessive. It's just it should have been just a yellow and that's it. No, nothing else. In the end of it all, the Portuguese sons of bitches, another fucking country. Okay, I'm not gonna say. You're gonna get offended. Yeah, because exactly. Europe scored on us with a bunch of Argentinians and a Uruguayan, Merentiel. Europe comes to play with us and they score on us. Whom? Di Maria. Where did Di Maria? Where was he born? In Portugal, Europe, and then another one, Mendy, a fucking chicken. Where was he born? Where was he born? In Portugal, right? The nation, all Argentinian goals. They say Europe. Europe can fuck off to their mother cunt. Europe does not exist. They have no talent. They've never had it. Nothing has come out of Europe. Nothing from Europe. Tell me all the players from Europe that you know. You'll say, oh yeah, you're gonna start to name the real talent came from America, and specifically South America, because it's the best soccer there is. Wow. I mean, of course, that you can't make laws or anything, but how would it go for the Europeans if they played only with the European players and we play with just the American players? Why do you buy so many Argentinians, Uruguayans, and Brazilians in Europe? Why? For what reason? What is the reason if they're so good, the European sons of bitches? What is the reason? Because they don't have balls, they don't have anything. The Europeans, it's European soccer is nauseous. I don't care if they want to score 10 on me. I care we played better because we play with heart, something that Europe does not have nor has ever had. It's the old continent. They belong to the animals, the old continent. We are the Eden, the new continent. If the Europeans that are listening to me, if there's any Europeans, which I know that they're all Argentinians, if they get upset with my words, there's the door. There's the door. Europe has nothing good for me, nothing attractive for me. It's dog shit completely. To top it off, Europe is like this. Europe is tiny like this. No one enters. It's completely overpopulated. It's dog shit. That is what Europe is. America is all the contrary. America is the Eden, is the big land. It is the of heaven, and the Americans were the best at everything. Europe, for me, and they'll stop being so, because the first thing, if they were to give me the power, I will make it disappear. What do you mean Europe? Europe can fuck off to their mother's country. Europe and all the rest of the countries. That's the way it is. How many did I lose today? How many left today? I don't know. They leave in pairs. How many Europeans are leaving today? Because like the subject of Luis Miguel, it says America is the Eden. What is it? America. God gave us America. America. What does it say, Luis Miguel song about America? Oh, when God made Eden, he thought in America. It says exactly. When God made Eden, he thought in America. That phrase, I'm sure that it was inspired. I don't know if Elohim wrote it. I don't know who wrote it. Because I don't think Luis Miguel wrote anything. Does Luis Miguel know how to write? Okay, somebody must have wrote it. But when God made Eden, he thought in America? And maybe another one sings it that it's not Luis Miguel. Someone else sung it before. Okay, fine, perfect. That's the way it is. Is that man, prophetically speaking, man is born on the 6th day. Do we agree or not? Creation, is it on the sixth day or not? Okay, so then where is it born? In Eden? On the sixth day. On the sixth day, which was the new earth that it was discovered, Eden, where was it created? The eternal truth in Eden. So then, the European mind, Asia, Africa, and Oceania, and the fucking bitch that bore them, America, is Eden. That is where Adam and Eve were formed. In order to join them, one was formed. America, one in the north and another one in the south. That America is not just Argentina, it's America. Our continent is America. America. That is the continent. Very well. And if you don't like what I said, I could give a fuck. I'm done, and now I'm going to speak about something completely different. Subject that I'll speak about, I wasn't even going to give it any importance at all. But you know what? There's something that I don't like, and actually, I get really upset. That is when someone comes to misquote me what I say, and to try to make me look bad by saying and misquoting my words. That is what you call wickedness in its purest form. Because if I'm going to quote one of you, I'm going to quote you exactly, not to interpret your words. If you're going to quote anyone, quote him as they said so. Do not interpret my words. Quote what I said and everything that I said. Because I speak long, not 5 minutes. I speak for a long time, and sometimes affirming one point, you cannot center yourself in that point, nor when I later round it up with something else. Or else they speak out of context, okay? So then you have to be very much of a son of a bitch to have a lot of wickedness inside to make me say things that I did not say. And that really busts my balls. Do I need to do this? No, I don't need to do this. I mean, what the fuck do I care? I mean, the door is out there for whomever wants to leave. But tell the truth, for me, I'm going to utilize this to, if anyone didn't understand my words, to understand them better. Stephen Duque and his wife Claudia wrote a post in the official Facebook LVE group, Out of the Blue, saying a whole bunch of things and affirmations, which demonstrates an internal wickedness, and they have to self-analyze what they have within, because not even I, who consider them to be friends, them and all of you, I would not act that way, ever. If somebody has a difference with me, like there's been many times in you, who don't understand something, you have a different idea, and you ask me and you say, look, this is the way I see it. What you said, I'm not sure if it's correct. What would happen if it were this way? I immediately analyze the precision, and you write to me. I can even call you by phone, and if it's something which deserves for a dialogue, we could dialogue about it. But to come at me from, this is treason. I consider it treason of low people. Low people. They're your friend, and then they stick you in the back because it's not forward. The people could think that it's forward. No, it's not forward. This is, they kick you from behind. To go forward is to go with me, to just say, hey, look, I have this problem. You said something that I don't understand. I don't understand it. Explain it to me. I see it this way. That is what it is to go forward. To go from behind is to denounce the person by trying to open the eyes to other people for them to leave. Because this whole message that Stephen Duque and Claudia wrote is to try to awaken sheep, like they say here, and seals that applaud, stupid minds that follow a guy that subjugates people, like as it's done in the CIA, like it says that I use CIA techniques to subjugate people, weak-minded people, it says. And they were able to come out of that enchantment, and so then, because they didn't like the last subject, or else, why didn't you leave before? Why didn't you leave before? You always had the freedom to come out before. If there was differences with you, you should have said it before. Why 1 week prior, you sent me a collaboration saying you don't know what you've been in our lives, and you even gifted me Walter White. He's the one that gifted me Heisenberg. Why? Right there, you were an applauding seal. Just one subject awoke you, and it wasn't even just one from the point of view, not even prophetic, nor doctrinal. It was kind of like what you thought that I treated the immigrants. Oh no, that cannot stand this anymore. So then what do? I'm gonna write. I think that I'm like Luther. I'm gonna write a whole thesis, a Torah, write it, and I'm gonna put down everything that I don't like. Why didn't you tell me way before of things that you didn't like that I'm about to read to you? Why didn't you write this before? Why? Because with this I've noticed that you'll never be trustworthy, nor will you ever be so in this life, at least. You're no good to be a king. You won't ever be a king, and you won't ever be, and even if you come later that you want to belong, you no longer belong ever again. Because this demonstrates what there is in your being. You're not being to be made to be a king of any type. It is clear. Absolutely clear. It is very clear. Neither of the two. Esteban, and I'm just saying by general information, if you don't want to listen to this, you can already just leave your like and leave. Stephen Duque and Claudia wrote this. According to the last subject, I'm almost sure that this is one of those subjects in which you proposed yourself to say whatever amount of incoherences, injustices, and pure wickedness with the only purpose of seeing if somebody or some would be able to refute such delirium. Okay. This concept, this text that you wrote, is actually wickedness. It's actually wickedness. One, because you perfectly well know that I didn't do it to see if somebody was going to awaken, as you're saying, and if somebody would say, no, what you're saying is wickedness, and another is that you say, out of that subject, you say incoherences. What was the incoherence that I said? That it's illegal to cross the border, that illegal immigration, something that you forgot to write in every single note that you added illegal. I am in favor of immigration. I am an immigrant. What makes a country great is immigration. I said it and I repeated it 1,000 times over, but in your mosquito brain, you didn't register it. What makes a nation great are the different cultures joined that make a nation great, because they all learn from everywhere. That is for me the most greatest thing than a race, a unique race that is not contaminated with the rest. No, that doesn't work, nor will it ever work. I love immigration, or migration, however you want to call it. And it is the foundation to be a great nation. What I highlighted is immigration. That's illegal. Illegal immigration is to cross a border that says do not cross. You don't belong to this side. You want to enter? Then apply accordingly. It's not how you entered Spain. You didn't enter in a boat from Morocco. You entered in a plane with a visa. That is what it means to enter legally. That is to enter legally. Any way of crossing a border and that you have a limitation to enter is to enter legally. If you have an invitation, when you cross a border illegally, it is to enter into a house as an invasion. If you don't understand that, if that's wickedness, you said that I said incoherences, you said injustices, that I said wickedness. Delirium. That's delirium. I said that the laws are precisely to know what justice is and what injustice is. The laws of a nation, it says this is my border. It is protected because I take care of my citizens. I take care of them. And if someone will enter, I want them to apply. There is a door to enter. If you break the barrier, it's as if to breaking an entry or entering through the window. If you don't understand that concept, that's illegal. And when I say about you, I speak to these two people, then you didn't understand anything of my subject. Don't ever tell me that immigration is a problem. I never said that. I said illegal immigration is a problem. Because to top it off that they enter illegally, they're going to live very badly. They're going to live without any paperwork as non-native, non-born here. They cannot get a driver's license. They cannot buy anything. They cannot rent anything. Then it's not convenient to come here this way because you're in a transgression of the most basic laws of the country. Now, once you and a whole bunch of people entered, what did I say that it was the solution? To give paperwork to everyone. I would find it to be injustice, and I still see it that way, to grab them all and to put them in a plane and to send them back. No, they're already here. They entered illegally? Yes, they did. The country can give them paperwork? Yes, of course, that's the solution. Unless they're being looked for by justice, because that's how many people come over here. I have proof that this guy, Peter Lopez, is being looked for the justice in Mexico. I hand him over. You were looking for this guy? Here he is. He escaped. Here he is. Here he is. The rest, I don't just give him paperwork, because paperwork, I don't fix a thing. I give him a place to live. I give them education, because it's interesting for them to learn the language, legal education, telling them what they can and cannot do in this country, and I give them a job. I give them all that as a government. I give them all that. And if there is little space, like I said, it's because the government doesn't do anything to make more cities and more cities and more cities. That is what I said. What is the wickedness? I summed it up, a whole subject. What is the wickedness if I want to give paperwork to all those who entered illegally, and I think that it's wrong, but even if I think it's wrong, I want to give them paperwork. And they should give them paperwork, not just that, a place to live, work, and education. What is the wickedness? Am I like Yahweh that way? I would never denounce the police that there's an illegal person. I've never done it, nor will I ever do so. In fact, every illegal person that I find, I've helped them always. Always. I've always helped them, even people who didn't have a place to sleep. I've gone and I played a hotel. For weeks, I've played out of my own money, paying hotel for a person until they were able to find a place. So then, where is the wickedness? Who can be such a son of a bitch than to call himself a friend and to write dog shit like that? I cannot understand it. Where's the wickedness if I'm teaching you that when they come legally, and if you came illegally, you didn't do correctly, I don't want you to leave. Even if you came illegally, what is the wickedness? Now you stay. Where's the wickedness? Explain to me. Then I explained compared with a house, and then I said in the new earth, and the new earth, you've got everything I want for all to come to the new kingdom. I want them all to come to the new kingdom, but I want for you to understand what the rules of the new kingdom are. I want you to understand what the economy of the new kingdom is. I want you to understand a form of acting in the new kingdom is to train them, to give them education. I believe that the whole world has to amalgamate themselves. Races, cultures, colors, ethnic backgrounds. That's what I believe in. I'll read on. I am almost sure that this is one of the blah, blah, blah. Okay. That are incoherences, injustices, and pure wickedness. Everything in the best style of Yahweh when he sent Abraham to sacrifice his son to see if he would be capable of rejecting such insanity. What is the insanity that I taught? If I'm in favor of immigration, what was the insanity? I want to understand what was the insanity. The first thing that I established in the previous subject is that there are rules and that they're here to be followed. Even if we live in Babylon, we live in Babylon, the kingdom of God. I want to drive. I want to have legality to drive. It's not that legality that God gives me. You know how people here, they're called their licenses. When I would ask them, I mean, nobody tells me that anymore. But before, I would say, hey, do you have a license? Yeah, the God-given one. That's what they would say. It's a joke. I have the God-given license because I can't get it the right one. I mean, wow. So then, the accusation I'm receiving here from these people is that now I get on the side of Babylon to follow their laws. No, it's a law of living with other humans while we have to be in these laws. You saw use those same laws. Good thing that the rules of aviation have laws, or else the planes would just go like that, and whatever, and they would fall here and there. Did you know that the laws that they have in aviation, the laws that they have to be a pilot? Good thing that there are laws in Babylon and they are followed. Because to be a pilot, you have to have so many hours. It's not that if you just want to be a pilot, an illegal pilot. Just imagine. I want to enter and be a pilot just because I want to, just because I want to. And if you don't let me be a pilot, then you're as wicked as Yahweh. I want to be a pilot. Oh, you want to be a pilot? Then you have a special education as a pilot. You have to have 1,000 hours with a trainer. And then you have to have like 5,000 hour flights in order for you to be a commercial pilot. You think it's easy? It's not easy. Thanks to the laws of Babylon, it works, or else everything would fall, everything would be broken, nothing would work. Thanks to the laws. But you tell me that I'm wicked when I said that there is a border, don't cross it because it's illegal. How evil! You're a demon. If I would want to enter, everyone to enter. What the fuck are you saying? Who has the wickedness? The only wickedness is the false accusation. These lies. That's why these things demonstrate that you really would not be a brain to be just, because you're not. To accuse me of words that I did not say. And that I'm the same style of Yahweh by testing you to say a barbarity to see who jumps. You have to be completely twisted to say that. If your words were not to test who would be those who would oppose, we would be talking about the fulfillment of that sentence that says we ended up looking like what we criticize. Wow. With what I taught now, I am like the whole creation of Yahweh. The thing here is not to look like Yahweh or not. My teaching has nothing to do with that. Absolutely nothing to do with that. This is a stupid, childish thing to say. It's not even intelligent. If you were intelligent, you would have written something else. This is not even intelligent. A fourth of intelligence of this would notice that it's wrong, the reasoning is. We move on. If it is that the image of the biblical God that you criticize so much, the one that accursed humanity and humiliated them to the utmost with all types of curses, that God that blamed entire peoples of being wicked and unjust from his privileged place, and not just that, but that he instigated for his chosen people to kill and steal from other countries, which also made them become the beast that they have become, as you have taught. Now I will describe some of the incoherences you said. I clarify this. The problem in my way of seeing it is not to say you're to be incoherent. The problem is to not recognize them. If you wanted me to recognize something of what you thought, you should have wrote to me. You said, hey, this is wrong. When in your mind, right? If I were to say, no, this is right, so then you would say, I would try. You don't recognize. What am I going to recognize? I sustain every word that I've said. What do I have to recognize? What is it that I have to recognize? That I made a mistake? How? If I love immigrants, I am an immigrant. What I don't want are illegal immigrants. What I don't want is violence, that they're burning police cars, that they bring their flag from whatever other country, that they didn't understand the rules here, that they put their music, whatever it's legal or not, the person, for them to use music that invades my house. That is what I don't want. Now the rest, let them do whatever they want. That is what I don't want. I also don't want that they suffer, because I know they suffer. They suffer because they live where they allow them to live. They live like little animals. They suffer. Don't think that they don't suffer. They suffer. They risk their lives and all the rest. That is clear. But what is it to risk their lives for something? The thieves risk their lives all the time. When they go to steal, they risk their lives or not. Murderers also, because they can get killed. So they all risk their lives. What is that about that they risk their life? That has nothing to do with it. To be illegal, it's illegal. What's legal is legal. Okay, let's say the phrases that I said. He's going to quote now. When I got to the U.S., this was great. We could live, and money was enough for everything. Traffic was fluid and all the rest, but now I'm a complete victim. I never said I'm a complete victim. That word, I've never used it, and I don't feel like a victim, but I am well off. I'm not a victim. I don't need to buy a house. I have a house by buying it. I'm not a victim. I'm not a victim. So then why do you use words and phrases that I never said? That is wickedness. Look, that right there is absolute wickedness, to distort what a person said, to make them look bad. The properties, it says, okay, I am a complete victim. With the augmentation of immigration, it's all chaos. You cannot live with a minimum wage, and the properties are very costly and all the rest. And there's a whole quantity of concepts that I've been teaching that it's one is consequence of the other, because the government doesn't do the things that they should do, because they do it on purpose. They open the border, a whole bunch of people enter to cause destabilization of the system. There's a whole bunch of politics here, just like the fires. Obviously, there's something way past what you see. What I told you is it's a change that there was. Victims? No, I was no victim. Not in the very least. And neither did I place myself in the position of a victim. So apparently these people are the victims that are saying, I don't understand. What happened with that about not being a victim? What happened? I don't know what happened, because I was never a victim. You're making things up. Insanity. Another phrase that I supposedly said that I didn't say. The immigrants are sons of bitches. I never said that. And if I said that, I said it under a concept. But not the immigrants. The immigrants aren't sons of bitches. What immigrants are you talking about? Tourists? Legal immigrants? Those that come to work, or those that come to steal? Which of all of them are the ones that I said that were sons of bitches? The immigrants are not sons of bitches. Sons of bitches is the ones that said this phrase. If I said it in the subject under a concept, that's something else. See it in the concept in which I said it. The immigrants are not sons of bitches. They are people that come to find a better future. The immigrants under the new kingdom, they'll be all immigrants, because it's not going to be in the new kingdom. They're all going to be immigrants. They're nauseous to me. No, what's nauseous is to me is people like you, right there, that distort, that lie, that want to make me say things. No, what makes me feel nauseous are people that put their music loud, the people that burn cars, people that want to implant a system of life that I don't want. That is what makes me nauseous, but not immigrants. I cannot stand them, depending on whom and depending on what they do. I cannot stand their music. No, I can stand their music if they put it in my ear. Okay? If they want to listen to whatever music that they like all day, that's fine. What I don't want to listen to is listen to their music in my house. It's very difficult to understand. My problem, too difficult to understand. Precisely the subject after last Shabbat, a neighbor that left. There was an old white guy that left. I would know him. He would make some Vitamix. He was a vegan guy, and he believed that we were going to evolve, and we were born in stones and then in animals. He was very comical. His name was John. Apparently he died, because I went and asked. Nobody was able to give me any information, but they sold the house. When you call this little dog here, they sold the house to some Mexican guys, and the Mexicans made a party on Saturday after I was done, and the music would seem that it was blowing things up here. It was incredible until 2 a.m. How could you hear it out there? I mean, way too much. I mean, I'm talking about that. I was so upset. I was so angry. Did I call the police on them? No, I didn't. Maybe even if I called, they wouldn't do anything. because of the customs and things like that's what I referred to. That is what I was referring to. Okay, moving on. What did it say here? Oh, their sons have. Okay. Their language. How am I going to hate their language if I speak Spanish? Now, if they speak Arab, I'm not going to understand it. Chinese, I won't understand it. It's not that I hate them. Their language. When did I say that? Their way of being, and especially the Latins. Good thing that they don't confuse me as a Latin right there. This is wickedness, okay? This is wickedness. In a court of justice here, I mean, you end up in jail because this is false testimony. This is false testimony. Well, I mean, it's incredible. I thought that you were an intelligent person. Your whole concept of intelligence went to the ground, and I noticed who you were, both of you. Both of you. I noticed what type of filthy rats are both of you. The high concept that I had of intelligence with this that you wrote, a small demonstration, I noticed what justice you live within and what type of material you're made out of. Complete garbage. Are you going to be saved? Yes. Kings? Never. Have no material to be kings. None. Not even a tiny bit. Justice kings? Not even a bit. Not a tiny bit. No king of justice would ever write this to me. How are you going to say that I said this? I didn't even look like Latins. No. I said that when I came here, I wanted to speak Spanish because I didn't speak English and they would confuse me with another type. They wouldn't speak Spanish to me because they thought that I didn't speak Spanish. They didn't speak Spanish to me. That is what I said, that I looked in a way. The Arabs thought that I was Arab. I would go into a place where there was Arabs, and they would speak to me in Arab directly, and I was like, what? And they're like, oh, I thought you were Arab. Just like that directly. I thought you were Arab. I have a face that could be on the Latin side, or Arab side, American side, European side. I mean, I can be anything. Jewish side. I mean, it fits everything. I can impersonate a Jewish person perfectly well. If I would just speak like that, with perfect Jewish, the Jewish are going to say, wow, this rabbi is spectacular speaking, because my face looks like everything. Arab, Jewish, white, Latin, everything is my face good for. I don't know what the fuck this person is talking about here. Tell the truth, I don't know what they're saying. I don't know. Okay, moving on. What happened with that about that you cannot rule from sentimentalism or feelings? I've never ruled that way. You do demonstrate sentimentalism. You were offended because you're immigrants. You didn't think reasonably what I said. Illegal immigration. You never added the term illegal because you hid that. You said you hate immigration. Wow. It was to hate illegal immigration. Do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, immigration to illegal immigration is to say a gift, and the difference from something being a gift or a theft, same thing. So then, I mean, there's no turning back once you show who you are. There's no turning back. If somebody wants to quote out of my words, quote exactly what I said, or ask me what I said. Okay, it says that I rule with emotion and anger. Okay, whatever. Now he's going to quote something else. Now he quotes something supposedly mine. This, what I'm about to say. Now he quotes worse my words than Gambetta quotes Ellen G. White, mind you. I mean, this guy beat him. He beat him by far. Gambetta would make things up about Elena. So that's a good quote. Where is it? Never find it. But this guy won it. He went overboard with it. This one I'm about to say, it's just my opinion. He's quoting me. Immigrants are those, no, not the immigrants, you liar. I never said the immigrants. I said illegal immigration. I mean, this is a lie right now. From the get-go. Stop everything. It's all a lie. I never said the immigrants are this and that. No, I said illegal immigration. When you break in, that is what's illegal. He's already talking about illegality, so then it's already a lie right there. We stop right there with a lie. Immigrants are this and that and this and that and blah, blah, blah. Minutes later, he that doesn't think like me, he cannot be a part of the group that will rule the earth. That right there is true. But it wasn't, you're saying that I first said, this is my opinion, and that I later say, he doesn't think like me. Okay, my opinion is not my opinion. It's illegality. It's not an opinion. It's the law. It's the law. He that doesn't have his paperwork legal, he's not legal. That's why I would give them paperwork. It's not my opinion. My opinion is, if I were the presidents, I would give them paperwork. That is my opinion. Now, when I say, if you don't think in the concept of justice that I'm teaching, then of course you cannot be with me, because what I am trying to teach you about justice, that it is laws, or else if there's no law, there's no justice. You wouldn't know what justice is. You wouldn't know what justice is. What is justice? To be within the law. That is what justice is. Outside of that, it's injustice. It is precisely the word injustice implies the law. What is justice? What is injustice? Injustice is outside of the law. Justice is the law. So then, that is true, but not applied the way you're applying it here. He that doesn't think in the same way that I think, he cannot be a part of the eternal truth. That is clear. Because if we're fighting here, how we're gonna get along later? It was just an opinion or a dogma. Okay, another quote. And I thought they were intelligent people. Wow. I thought they really deceived me until they opened their mouth. If we want to be righteous, we have to be legal. Supposedly something that I said, if we have to be righteous, we have to be legal. When I came to the U.S., I came legal. Supported by Babylon. We have to be legal. Yes, that is my opinion. If you're not legal in the U.S., you cannot drive. You don't have anything. You cannot cooperate with your Social Security. Okay, that's the last of it all. But you can't do anything. Just you can't rent anything. You can't rent a place. Period. You can't rent a house, even less buy a house. You're nothing. You're no one. What happened with that? About that we're gonna end up with an unrighteous system that always has the power and the opportunities to just a few chosen ones, or a few chosen blessed of Yahweh, the most unrighteous liar, despot of them all that has ever existed, according to your own interpretation of the scripture, with which I coincide. It's always easy to speak from the privileged point. In your case, that you found somebody that had the U.S. citizenship. Not everyone has that privilege. Most people that want to get better, they choose to immigrate. They have to risk so much and to fight a whole system. They risk everything, even their lives, to better their condition, and to say that they're immigrants, that they have the support of Babylon. It's illegal and unrighteous, and then it's also unrighteous on your part to receive offerings from illegal people. Since in justice there's no grace, it's white or black according to your own words. You think that it's unrighteous that the government of the U.S. sends money to other countries, money that allows them to have their inflation controlled, because it's money that is generated in the U.S., but it's circulated outside of their territory. Don't you think that it's unfair that the U.S. has been dedicated to steal other lands and destroy countries, and then self-attempt against their own citizens by wanting to support the chosen people? You don't even believe these words that you wrote, Esteban. Tell the truth. Think about them, everything you learned from me, everything. I've never taught that Babylon is unrighteous, and I've never taught that the U.S. steals everything. No, I've never taught anything. I didn't. It's true what you say. It is true. I coincide. What I have to say, yes, it's the truth. Yes, I've taught that the U.S. is the most righteous, that I agree with everything. No, I don't think that that's unrighteous. I mean, what is it that you're saying? I ask you, are you normal? Are you okay? Like, look at yourself in the mirror and tell yourself, did I said that about Christian Silva? That I heard so many preachings about Babylon, so many preachings about what the U.S. does, Israel. I'm gonna dare to write that. I mean, better, why not? Why don't I shove the hands up my ass, and I shut my ass and say, no, don't put that. Didn't it really hurt your heart, your conscience, of saying, I'm lying, I know, I'm lying, I know, but I want to seduce some people. Didn't it move a little bit? Because when you lie about a person, something in your interior, you feel something, you son of a bitch, you feel it. Didn't you feel that, you son of a bitch, that a friend like me, that you know that this is a lie? What moved you to write this? I mean, you really have to be very evil to write this about me. That it taught you to avoid, to get poked, and taught you so many things. I mean, what is it that motivates a person to write such a lie? And you, Claudia, you stand a liar like that, or are you such a liar like him? You're just as much of a liar. Now, you too, don't believe anything you guys say. Nothing! Not a word of love that you've ever said. Doubt it. Because in any point, when he finds another, he'll leave just like that. And he won't tell you. All of a sudden, he says, I left you because you were always a stupid idiot. He'll tell you all the things that he never told you before, because these people never told me anything before. They never told me, Christian, I don't see things that way. You're defending? No, never. These people are zero trustworthy between you two. Look at each other and say, wow, if I write the way I wrote about Christian, then I cannot ever trust you. 0%. Look at your eyes in the eyes. Look at yourselves in the eyes. This is a judgment. The whole eternal truth that knows everything that I preach, they have to listen to this barbarity, and you already know what you are within your mind. I don't even have to explain what I said and what I didn't say about Babylon. Wow, I can't believe it. But now look at yourselves, you too. Because you too, I'm telling you, everything you've ever said one another, it's a lie. It's a lie. And one day you'll see it. When you least expect it, you'll receive a note from the other. And you say, because he left with another woman or another man. It's so clear because you are two lying tongues. Lying tongues. I'll leave it at that. I don't even have to explain this. I understand, he quotes me, I understand that the actual chaos in the world has to augment. I almost agree with you and blah, blah, blah. What happened with the reflections, spectacular reflections, when it would think that it was a whole eternity ago? If it were for me, there shouldn't be any chaos. If it were up to me, I'm not the one that decides. Yahweh would give them. If it were Yahweh, give the Messiah, whomever is going to be the Messiah, right now. Here's the land. Here it is. But it's not my plan. But I'm against what Revelation says. I'm against what Isaiah says in Jeremiah and Ezekiel that says, in the land and divides it, there was no man. Revelation, complete a plague after a plague and a trumpet after a trumpet and everything that you want above, and until he kills everything. I'm not in agreement with that. When I referred to chaos, I said problems. That maybe it's the plan of Yahweh. It's not my plan. I've already told you what my plan is. A complete salvation. It's not my plan, but it's his plan. That's what happens. So then, doesn't matter what you want to say. What happened with this and that, blah, blah. No, nothing happened. Nothing happened. What happened is that the plan is Yahweh's. Are you capable of feeling compassion for cows and blah, blah, blah? I mean, what the fuck is he saying? I mean, just anything. Okay, after having said all this, this must be about what happened when I told them that this person that needed help. Because here comes the defense of that person. It's difficult for you to show compassion for human beings that are a part of your own group, that have fallen in disgrace or unfortunate. I'm going to tell you something, Stephen, and everybody listen to me. It's been 15 years that I've been showing the greatest compassion for all those that listen to me. Because in every preaching, in every word that I pronounce, I try for them to have life. And life is transferred through words. If it's in as much that a doctor can transfer it to you. as also one can transfer life in another death. I'm not talking about eternal life, I'm talking about life in every aspect. So then when someone says that I have not demonstrated compassion for human race, that I do not demonstrate compassion for human beings, if it weren't for me, you pair of idiots, you would be trapped in a religion, dogmatic religion, that you yourselves told me through emails. Is that not compassion to free you? Is that not compassion of the condition in which you were? What is compassion for you? For me to sell all my things and sell them to you? Would that be compassion for you? Compassion for human beings is to fight for human beings. And this ministry is the only thing that it wants. It wants salvation for you too. Salvation for you and the people like you. And justice. And justice. Salvation and justice. Correct. But it would seem that you would not have not understood. It didn't hurt your heart a little bit? Maybe it didn't. When you were writing these things, you didn't feel a little bit? I mean, I shouldn't do this. It didn't go through your head? Or you just broke all type of barriers? It says, talking about these people that were in a misfortunate and that they never donated, they don't have the resources or the attitude to do so, that is no reason to humiliate them and expose them as you did. No, it's not a reason in your justice. That's why you're no good to be a king. That is why you're no good to be a king. I'll tell it to you right now, and thank you for exposing it. You're no good as a king. And even worse, as a king of justice, you wouldn't never be good for that. That is what it is to rule with sentimentalism, which you yourself said. I rule with teaching, because the humiliation is needed to rise up. Humiliation is needed for change. If there's no humiliation, there's no change. There's no change. Humiliation is vital for a person to change. You don't understand it. That's fine. It's all fine. You don't understand it. I don't want you to understand it either. All the contrary. That's where it's to just all the contrary. That type of people, those that can't pay for us. No. It's not that they don't have a way of paying us. Is with the people that we should be the most generous with. No. It has nothing to do one with the other. I could be very generous with people that don't have how to pay me when they deserve. And actually, what they did give of themselves, they gave it joyfully. So then you're mixing two different things here. Of course, you can help people that don't have how to pay it. First, you know how many rings I gave and they never paid me? Not even half? Or the fourth part that they still need to pay me? What do I care? I could care less. That's nothing. That is nothing. How many people that I help, all the people that I help, I know that they cannot even return it. And that's why I help them. He's mixing different things. This is a malicious mind to mix things. Because I had a point to teach him in another case. There's no need for me to even read to you. It says, let's suppose that you are, who you say you are. Let's suppose. The leader of the Messiah of humanity. Let's suppose. He that prepares the Messiah, the leader of the Messiah, of these kings that are going to work in conjunction. Let's suppose. The leader of the group that will be the new God of creation. Let's suppose. With infinite powers to resurrect the dead, destroy Babylon and all the rest. Let's suppose. I personally do not want to be a part of the group whose leader cannot recognize his mistakes. Perfect. The statement is wrong because I do recognize every mistake that I make, and the mistakes that I make, that I preach, I recognize them. And if you were to tell me you're making a mistake here and I notice, I do recognize it completely. Now, you're making me recognize a mistake here. A mistake in that I should say, long live illegal immigration. I mean, you didn't even use the word illegal. You wrote nothing but lies. That's what happens. So then, I'll take this part directly as, of course, that you cannot be a part, not even if you want, of this group, because you showed me what you're made out of. The material you're made out of. You showed it, and I've learned enough. I've seen enough. But you yourself say it. That is what's comical. You're not able. He's not able to control his wrath, and he insults in every subject just to insult. Now it was you. No, of course, no. He's just insulting me just like that. I really don't deserve that. To disrespect those that don't think the same. Oh, he's disrespecting me. At some point in time, following you, I did it. Also, I learned from you, but today I decide to stop. Oh, today I decide to stop. Good thing, good thing. Good thing for me, good thing for you. I don't want to be a part of a group that applauds like seals. Oh, I don't know if you noticed, but Esteban and Claudia insulted all of you. He called you seals. They start like seals here because there's hate inside. Those that leave don't just leave silently. They go with a big bang like that, with a sound. So they insult me and you too. How is he not going to insult you? You're all dog shit too, he says. It's all dog shit. It's all dog shit. He leaves because he recognizes that it's all dog shit and he leaves. So then he says, I do not want to be a part of a group that applauds like seals. You, that's you. Every stupid thing he says without questioning anything. But hold on, the only stupid thing that is questioning was the point of immigration. You notice. Then the rest, let's suppose, let's dream that you are what you say you are in the group of what. I don't want to be a part of the group. Okay, we applaud right there like a seal. I applaud like a seal. Let's go ahead and applaud. Let's go ahead and applaud like seals. Let's applaud like seals. That Stephen and Claudia left. Yes, of course. Bye. Let's applaud. There you have a seal applaud for you. It's kings applauding, saying there was an illegal immigration here. Illegal, but they themselves left. So then I find that to be great. That's great. Out with them. The seals applaud you. I hope not to rule anything. You'll never rule anything, not even your house, because you're not trustworthy. Both of you, and you're both liars. And shamefully liars. Never again. Record this. Not never believe each other. Anything you guys say, it's a lie. How many lies does Stephen have with you? How many lies does Claudia have with you? It's a lie. Because if you saw the wickedness, like what he wrote here to me, Claudia, if you see the wickedness with what he wrote to me here, is the same wickedness that he tells you to your face. I'll tell it to you right now. Don't believe a thing. Because you see a person, how they act. You see how a person is dishonest. They're not going to be dishonest with one person, not with the other. Of course not. If you know a thief, careful, because he's going to steal from you. Zero honesty. But they really deceived me. I thought that you were valuable people. Like you see it. You thought that he was a valuable person. He's not. Don't see it. Look at him. See him as the garbage that he is. And you, Stephen, look at your wife. The same thing. Because you demonstrated it here. Oh, how awful, right? It's how shameful. If you had not lied, if you had not tried to transform my words, by doing so, you demonstrated who you are. I prefer not to rule anything. You'll never rule anything. Only myself. No, not even yourself. You cannot rule your lying tongue. How are you going to rule yourself? You're never going to rule yourself. I'll tell it to you right now. The kings will always rule over you. Just like that. I'll tell it to you right now. It's a prophecy. And you'll be happy. Because you'll know that you couldn't. That you can't. You must be what you must be. Or not be anything. I'd rather have my reward to be who I am. A great liar, and not a supposed power to rule the world. Now he starts to speak all kinds of nonsense since he's leaving, that he wasn't believing, saying that it's all a lie. I prefer not to follow a leader having lots of characteristics of the biblical God, but he looks like him without mercy and without pity. Wow, I mean, the more I advance, Claudia starts to suspect, because everything is a lie on YouTube. Both of you. The Argentinian subject, here we go, I'm going to read it to you. It's obviously a beautiful country that we appreciated already since before to get into LVE. I even had the opportunity of traveling to its capital and I loved it. But that is one thing, and one thing is very different, is that you want to force a whole entire group that's so diverse, with so much plural nationality as this one with diversity. That is precisely what enriches any group. What have you discovered? It's precisely that diversity as a consequence of foreign immigration that has made great and fascinating any group or territory or country. Or else just look at the US or Argentina herself, whose ethnic and cultural richness is owed to its ethnic mixture and racial mixture that has made them a marvelous country. Oh, good thing you told me that, because I thought the Argentinians were just a race that was born there, that had never mixed with anyone. I thought that it was an original country. Isn't so? It's not an original race? It isn't so? Oh, thank you. Seriously? Are you seriously? Argentina is a country of immigrants? I didn't know. Tell the truth. Thank you, Stefan, for telling me. Many thanks. Don't applaud everything, SEALs. Because now you're applauding in chat. Careful. Let's go carefully. Let's go slowly and save it for the end. Then it says, Esteban, I'm sorry, I have to find the SEALs because I have to control them. Hold on, stop. They're all focused and sealed and ready to applaud. Okay, moving on. Many times you've said that nationalism, you have to leave them behind, that they're stupid and nefarious, and that does not apply to this point, to the point of personalizing and generating a brutal trauma of self-annulling to the fans of River Plate. Oh, we're going to defend River Plate now? Inciting them to change over to Boca. All this is accepted by these SEALs. This is all acceptable by these SEALs voluntarily. By the weak, manipulated sheep. Here's another one, another gift. People that are weak and can be manipulated. Both this man, as this woman, called us sealed and called us people that we can be manipulated and weak. Because otherwise they would be eliminated from the group that will rule the earth. Today I see it with these eyes, and I think that such needed character. Aside from that, from being seals, they're seals, people that can be manipulated, that need character. It's all kinds of things that you have to notice what this man has called you. And will. Exactly. I'm here to baptize. I baptize them as Argentinian and from Boca. That is the baptism. The baptism in the name of Argentina and Boca. They needed they lacked character and self-will. If I'm a true fan, I'm not gonna switch teams and worst to the direct rival. Oh, but we are all fans of Yahweh still, and this justifies to lose my personality. Yes, I'm sorry, but you too changed, but it was no good. I changed your fans. You were a fan from Christianity. Imagine if Christianity was River. You were a fan of Yahweh when I changed you. So then I can change people. That is why God called me, to change people. Does this bother you? You're not a part of the group. So then obviously, bye. But God called me. Elohim placed me with that purpose to change people. To make a unified group, to change people. I find that to be perfect. There's nothing against Boca. For those of us that we always liked this team, it didn't really cost us anything, but I cannot even imagine what those had to go through, those from River Plate. They were traumatized. Who's the victim here? I mean, who's the victim? They were traumatized. Their personality was lost to the best style of the famous torture experiments done by the CIA. What are you referring to? The MK Ultra? Is that what you're referring to? My words are so powerful. I tortured you with my words. Wow. It would seem to be that you were really a River fan, actually, because you speak for them. I would never speak for a chicken. I would never speak for a chicken. They don't think a lot. They have feathers. I don't know what they think. I don't know what they think, but I know that below every river fence, there were Boca fans. They didn't know. I just took the feathers off. It is clear. It is clear. I'm going to defend that. No, I'm not going to defend that. I'll support it. Here, we're from Boca. The eternal truth is from Boca. The eternal truth is Argentinian, and they that say that they're not Argentinian, they don't belong here. And if they don't say that Boca's not the best team and they don't love Boca, they're not from the eternal truth. It's my rules. Are you mad, bro? Then leave. We don't want any chickens. We don't want any chickens. He says that's unfair. I'm forming a group here. It would be unfair if I would come to a nation that is formed and I bring my own ideas. No, it's a group that I'm forming. And since it's a group that I'm forming, I teach them the rules. And these are the rules. We're Argentinian. We like this national anthem. In Argentinian, in the sense of Argentum, we're superior. We're aspiring the position of kings, nothing less. Nothing less than that. We're going to rule the world. The world is ours. And we're of Boca. And that's it. It's over. It's as simple as that. Does that bother you? Then don't come here. Go to the river group. I don't know if there's any chickens still in this group. Maybe it's time for them to leave. Someone from river wants to say, I want to make my own group, and let them be from river. That's perfect. Our rivals. That'd be great. Don't copy anything though. Don't copy what I've taught. Taught your own stupid shit, whatever you want, whatever you interpret. Don't use one sole interpretation of mine. Interpret your own. Do I have the right to say LV is of Boca? I have all the right. I'm forming LVE. I'm forming LVE. I have all the right to do so. You don't like it? Then bye. The eternal truth is Argentinian. Argentum. The LVE will always be Argentinian. Argentina as a country will disappear. Uruguay, Chile, Bolivia, Peru, Venezuela, Brazil, Mexico, Guatemala, Nicaragua, Honduras, the US, Spain, Portugal, England, Germany, Africa entirely, Asia entirely, they'll disappear. No more countries. No more countries. The only world is the kingdom of the Messiah, or of the kings. There won't be anything else. You don't even have to imagine it. That's the way it'll be. The kings, no one else enters. The position is not available. Now is the moment for Yahweh to form them, call them, and allows them to be here. That I taught you. But afterwards, there's no position for anything. The kings are the kings, and those who are not kings are not kings. It's simple as that. It's as simple as that. So then, what are we going to perpetuate that they all become Argentinian? No, it's the nation of the Messiah. All the cultures. And when the time comes, they'll all become an integral part that everyone's going to travel. They'll all see justice. They're all going to learn of everything because the richness of this world is in every culture. They're going to learn this that lived here, will learn from here, this that lived here, will learn from this. The types of foods, it'll be the greatest thing there is. In the sense of the word Argentum, will be Argentum everyone. We're going to take in all the nationalities in one sole nation. It's as simple as that. We're all going to learn from everyone. Things that I don't know about Africa that are delicious, that I never tried, I want to try them. And if I like them, I add them in my menu. If I like them, if I don't like them, I say it's dog shit. Let them eat it, not me. It's as simple as that. It's as simple as that. I want to try every single food that's ever been made in this world. If I like it, I'll adopt it. If I don't like it, I say it's dog shit. It's simple as that. At my liking, right? It's just like that. Complete integration. So then what you said here, complete stupid shit. We need leaders that allow people to differ among the leaders. Of course, we're going to say, no, it's convenient, that's perfect. That's fine. To see it as an advantage, not as an apparent threat, but superficiality. No, you're wrong. You're wrong. This group is a unit now. But when this group matures and they get to its final end, so then there will be the opinions will be unified, and those that no, we're going to study why not, and maybe why they're not right. Exactly. Differing between the kings will be, I wouldn't call it differing, but I would call it different ideas. Different ideas, we'll study them if it's convenient or not. Entirely, I'm not talking about a leader that rules everything, and it's what he does. No, that's why there's a group of kings. and the kings will rule as a group. And as a group, as a judgment is done, as a Supreme Court of Justice, you don't have to understand it because you're not for that. Don't you worry about that. It's not for you. Don't worry about differing or not. You're not a part of it. What difference is that between waiting for... Okay, right here, you gotta... Right there is... You take the cake with this one. What difference is waiting for a Jesus in the clouds with leaving a perverse world so then later to destroy all those that didn't believe that they did and that they laughed at his fanatic ideas? What difference is there? He says, what difference is there? As if he's questioning, what difference is there? That with waiting to receive a magical power, he's diminishing it and he calls it magical, of the same being that we've criticized so much for his injustices, lies, and wickedness, and to eventually receive such a power to humiliate those who directly humiliate. Instead of teaching, humiliation is part of what they're going to have to go through because of their own mistakes. It's not just humiliating, give me the power because I want to humiliate. No. One thing is for me to teach what humiliation is, and another thing is give me the power because I want to humiliate. What do you want? I want to humiliate. No, that is not the Messiah. The Messiah wants to give justice, to give life. That is what moves the Messiah, to give life. And part of the teaching, every person will have to suffer some sort of humiliation to learn. If it's necessary, they have to suffer it, nothing else. Babylon has to suffer full humiliation. Babylon, not a person, Babylon. All the lies created by Babylon. Okay, what continues? He says, to eventually receive a power to humiliate those who gave us a thumbs down and did not agree with our teachings in YouTube. Oh, yes, precisely. That is why we wanted to receive power. All this allowed only with the pretext that we're going to save them all. And to think that way is to continue to perpetuate the discourse that the letter enters with the blood that is valid to humiliate as the means to supposedly teach. I no longer coincide with this, even if we say that we're going to save everyone. No, you're going to save anyone. You cannot even save yourself. You cannot even save yourself from your mind that writes lies. You cannot even, I tell it to you right now. That does not justify mistreatment, ridiculizing, and humiliating any human being. Who's the victim? You felt such a victim in every aspect. You felt a victim. I'll just stay with the teaching that you once gave that we were going to seduce everyone through teaching and truth. I sustain it in the adequate moment, precisely that, and the people will love us. But all this is different aspects of what will take place. In essence, the message of Tempone, Christian Tempone, the Uruguayan saying that Jesus was coming last September, and of all the religions of today, what is the difference? None, he says. What is the difference of waiting for Jesus to come in the clouds? And what you're saying, none. The same thing. That's why I'm leaving. There's no difference. In essence, the message of Tempone and of all the religions of today, it's the same message as that of Silva. It's so clear. It's so clear. What else? It could be any more clear. The same message. Where have you been all this time? And it wasn't so much time because it hasn't been a long time that you've entered the same message. I hadn't noticed that of Tempone, mine is the same message. Now that I stop to think it's almost the same thing, mind you. It's almost the same. Oh, there's almost no difference. If you cannot see the differences, then you become Esteban. There it is. Esteban cannot see a cow tied to a tree. I don't even notice. I don't want to go against Colombians. Okay, careful. This is not against Colombians because I have lots of Colombian friends. Here, no one's listening to me because they're all Argentinian. But I knew Colombians and I love Colombians. I love Colombia. But some have a problem that they think that they're such philosophers way past of what their possibilities allowed them. So then we know a lot of those. They think that they are logical philosophers. And they can, those people, just these, it's not enough. It just can't. This one writing to me here says that he cannot see the difference between Tempone and my message. Well, if you can't see the difference, that's fine. Then there's nothing for you. It says even if there's more difference it's the same thing. It's the same thing, he says. Wouldn't it be that the Creator, whomever He might be, what He wants is that we don't just transcend all types of beliefs and sects and also groups and teachers and gurus for a time that it would be necessary. Yeah, good thing it was necessary, as are what the parents for the newborns, but also it is necessary to leave behind to start to allow for yourself to walk for yourself if you want to mature as individuals. Isn't it so that the only lies was the inheritance of our father's vanity to which there is no avail includes you? Isn't it so that the path, it includes me, he says, isn't it that the path is not that of the groups of that of individuals, those in which I'm not looking for the answer of a leader with which you cannot differ? No, he cannot differ with me. Yes, of course you can differ with me. On a permanent basis. Do you know how many times people write to me saying, I think this is different? I say, well, that's fine. If it were so, this is the problem if it were so. And if you want to think of it that way, that's fine. You can differ with me. What you cannot do with me, and I will not tolerate, is for you to lie about my lies, and you turn and think there's wickedness. I'm not going to tolerate that. You liars, I won't tolerate that. So then this, that you cannot differ with me, is a lie. How many times have you seen me differing with Armando, another great Colombian philosopher? Was it not every Shabbat? Did I not show patience in explaining? Would I get upset and kick him out? No, for years. So then, what the fuck are you talking about? You don't even know me. What the fuck are you talking about? I cannot but say that everything that I've been saying would be impossible to say if I had not had a teacher like you. Well, that's the only truth you ever said. I cannot avoid to say that this would not be impossible to say if I had not had a teacher like you, one that taught me that it was necessary to throw things into the garbage and blah, blah, blah. Okay, moving on. In conclusion, thanks for all the experience with LV. I wouldn't go to any other group. No. If you what you have in mind, form your own group. I know people like you, they all do the things in their mind, they want to form their own group because you want to help others to think. And the last thing, when you least expect it, you form a group because people that follow with your ideas, that's what you put a podcast with Claudia to form a group for people to listen to you. So the people that listen to you, you'll give them your ideas, and what you're doing is to make a group. It's obvious. They all have that same desire. Not all. All who are like them. They have that desire of ruling and freeing because now he has the truth, because in essence what is he saying? Now I think for myself. I don't need you to give me any answer of anything. I have the truth. Okay, whatever. So then, that's it. So then, since I wrote to him a message there in Facebook, he published it in Facebook. To go to Facebook is not going forward. He would have to written to me. That would be forward. And then Claudia, his wife, had given a heart saying that I love it. Saying I love it. So then I included her. And I said, this message that I wrote here, I respect your decision to leave. You're free to leave, and all those that you lied because you didn't understand, because I'm in favor of migration, in favor of giving them paperwork, giving them houses, giving them work, giving them education. I repeat it 1,000 times already. It's just that you didn't understand. You're an idiot. You wise Colombian person, brutally a liar, because you demonstrated it. Just because you demonstrated it. That is why you didn't understand the subject. But Claudia is on his side because she's the same thing. Then wrote some other things. Since I included her, saying, okay, that's fine. Then leave, both of you. I didn't kick them out. They left on their own. And I said, and all of those that like what he wrote in his group, then leave too. You can go and check it. I pinned it. As soon as I saw it, I pinned it so that everyone can see it. And they can give their own opinion. And I'll make the invitation if there's somebody in the eternal truth that by reading this post of Stephen and Claudia, they are in agreement with their words, give it a like and leave. I'll give it like and I'll kick you out. I mean, if you can't leave yourself, give it a like or leave. Because why? Because you're saying, and I agree this. I see the same thing that they see. That's fine. That's fine. If you see the same thing, then leave, please. Please leave. Because I don't want to keep anyone here. I'm never going to look for you. I'm never going to go to your house to look for you. I'm not going to look for you. Here, those who are here are those who want to be here and plead to be here. Here it's not because I go and look for you and I say, no, please don't look at it that way. Have patience with me. Give me another chance. No, I mean, come on. You want to be here? It's because you value this. You value it. You don't want to be here? Then leave. Just leave. The door is open. You're on a permanent basis open. Claudia Felisa Rubio wrote this. Christian Silva, thank you for everything. Christian and Leslie, thank you for all of your teachings. And of course, Christian, I love my husband's post because if I learned something from you is that we are one. Careful. Careful that there's no things there because if you lie the way you lie here, we're one. Or a group. Because, and even less when it's about something that we believe and follow. We both heard this to the end. The episode of the Saturday, and before taking this decision and writing these words, we argued and we shared what we thought of, and we made this decision. At the end of the subject, after going to the extremes, after having said that the subject of justice not only black and white, you invited us to go to the gray zone in the middle. Either way, no extreme fills me. I'm not going to anyone. You know, we admire so many things of you, of transforming yourselves, but in the last days, your pride has won. What? Pride? They've accused me that of all the time. Since 2008, I've had pride, they said. Pride is how they call me. They always call me proud, proud, proud. You don't even know what to be proud is, but oh well. You are proud people. If you know what pride is, it's precisely to lie in things that are bad and to sustain them. That is what it is to be proud. Humility is to recognize them. They accuse me of something that I'm not. Pride, and to continue on like that, I have confidence. They confuse it. I have confidence, which is different. And to continue on with this, when you cannot stand an observation, of course I can. How many observations and arguments and all you want? When you insult someone that asks you for help, I have not insulted somebody that asked me for help. You taught us to value, once again, the value of being born again and to renew the mind. And even after many years, to continue to consider insufferable to live where you don't belong. And where is it that left that the world is ours? The world is ours. It's there, but we haven't received it yet. And of course, I am not gonna disrespect to the nations and countries where we immigrate to, and even less to the people. But with all pride and admiration, I say I am an irregular immigrant. No. You an irregular immigrant? No. You're a legal immigrant because you entered with a visa. Unless you tell me no, I flew to Portugal. They gave me a visa, and that's how I went through the jungle and I crossed over to Spain. If that's what you tell me, then yes, you are irregular. But if you entered with a visa to Spain as a tourist, then you're legal. In fact, when here they do the paperwork, there is a great difference. If you entered as a tourist and you stayed, or if you entered directly by breaking the barrier. Did you know that those that they give paperwork, I'll explain it to you how it's in the U.S., those who entered as tourists, even if it's 10 years back, 20 years back, and you show them the visa that you entered that way, that they allowed you to enter, and that they give you paperwork, they don't make you go back to your country. If you entered illegally, and you don't have a visa, you don't have a passport, you entered by jumping the fence, then it says, now you have to go back to your country. And then apply from there, and then come back. That's the way it is. They make you go back. Is it that way or not? That's the way it is. There's a difference. So then don't try to make up the process. I'm an irregular immigrant. No, you're a regular one. A regular one. And if you wanted to stay, for the country, it's not a problem. You make the paperwork, so then don't come to change things by lying. In the process of legalization, of course, you were always legal. You were always legal from being there. So then, don't try to lie to us, because to write that is to say I wasn't illegal. I'm against what Christian says because I entered illegally and now I'm in a legal process. That is to lie. Careful between you two, because you're two lying snakes, both of you. You were always legal, you entered legally, and now you're in the process of staying and working there legally. I'm an irregular immigrant in the process of legalization, and I've worked with lots of love, not just for money, but also to learn, to know, to make better myself, and to see the beauty of diversity, of lots of cultures, and knowing the capacities that I have along with my lineage, and that's fine. Before traveling, you also should have added these words. Lots before you left from Colombia to Spain, you asked me, you think it's a good idea for me to go to Spain? You should have told me. Christian advised me, yes, of course, go. Absolutely go. It would have been great. But that would have gone against you two sons of bitches, what you wrote. Because if you say Christian advised me for me to go live in Spain, you would have gone against what you said, yes or no? So then we hide that as serpents that we are. Because Christian hates immigrants. I want to show that he hates the immigrants. I want to show that part. He's like Yahweh, evil. He would want to disappear them all. No, why didn't you tell them that? I told you, yes, of course, that's a good idea. Go. Take that advantage. Why didn't you say that, you sons of bitches? Because you're liars. You're liars. That's why you didn't say that. So then, and now you come to tell me in public, no, tell me. I asked you and you told me, you encouraged me. You said, yes. You want me to show the letter? I have it right there. It's in Facebook. There's no effort I could show it. Why lie? Why lie? You wanted to make me look bad by saying I'm an immigrant and you're against what I did? No. If I told you to go, you liar. I told you to go, so then why do you lie like that? I don't get it. I don't even know why I'm wasting time with you. I'm teaching you, those of you that are going to be kings, how to act. I'm teaching you. It's a lesson for you. These two people I could care less about. They're not a part of our kingdom. They won't ever be so. That's it. It's defined. But I'm teaching you how things should be acted. How ugly it's unacceptable to lie and to raise false testimony. We opened our eyes, Christian, and now we're living in the moment in which we noticed that we wanted to learn from the major line. But in the end of it all, it's been magnificent, your strategy. There it is. If that's not wickedness, what is it? In the end of it all, it's been magnificent, your strategy to create a flock of sheep. You are a flock of sheep. Aside from seals, brainless, you're also sheep. With a complete bad vision. How beautiful, right? He says, we opened our eyes. Thank you, Christian. But those that you have there, they cannot see. Such blindness, we don't want to be sheep, nor of your flock, nor of any other. No, let me declare, you're not, none of the eternal truth are sheep of any flock, not mine nor anyone's. They're not sheep. They are kings. No, they're kings, or per se, what do you say? What's before saying kings? Princes. They are princes. They're not kings yet, they're princes. Princes and princesses. I don't want to have sheep, a flock of sheep, or a group of lions. I've never taught that. They're not also nearsighted either. They're not dukes either. They're kings. The dukes are going to stay as dukes, because duque means duke in Spanish, as this guy's last name is. The kings are kings. That's the way it is. We don't want to be sheep of your flock, or of any flock, nor lions, nor wolves. No, yes, you are wolves. You're wolves. Completely fierce wolves that came to try to destroy. You know what the message here is? Because if you wanted to have left because you didn't belong, you leave in silence, saying bye, and that's it, it's over. If you leave that way because you want to destroy this, say, open your eyes, this is dog shit, I'm opening my eyes, I'm leaving. Take advantage that this guy's not leading you anywhere. That is what you try to do, destroyers. That is what it is to be a fierce wolf. And there's no turn of the page. It says we're not wolves, try to continue on. We want to continue in evolving. You have been a teacher of from whom we learn enough. Now we follow our own path. Thank you for everything. And afterwards, after the message that I wrote, you really dared to say this. It says Christian Silva uy, and completely threat to the sheep. What was the threat? When I said, those of you that want to leave, there's a door. You're a sheep of the word. Everyone will think that you're giving them the freedom to leave, when actually you're manipulating them. No, careful. No. Here I see the level of your intelligence. Here I see the level of your intelligence. The freedom of leaving is there. There's no condition whatsoever, nor am I manipulating anybody. There's the freedom of leaving right there. But what you wrote here, I see that you have a brain like this small, this tiny, very tiny. If they agree in anything with us, if they agree in anything with all the stupid shit that we wrote, that's what she's saying. If you agree with any of all the stupid shit and lies that we wrote down, she says, but if I leave, then I lose the privileges of being a Messiah. What a question. Let me ask you, if I am an associate of a club and I pay for the quote and I can go and watch the games and I can go to the gym, the pool, and if I say I don't want to be an associate, I'm not going to pay for this, I'm out of here, here's the card. Do I lose what the club gave me? Do I lose to go to the pool, or can I say, hey, I can go to the pool because I paid for many years? And are you a member? No, I renounced to it, but I want to go to the gym. No, you can't go. If you want to go to the gym, you have to be a member, or else you can't go to the gym. So then it is evident that if I am right in the things that are going to be the way I've preached them, those that leave from here are no longer a part of the eternal truth. I mean, is that evident, or do you still want to leave here and preserve whether I'm right or not? Oh yeah, I'm a part also. You want to keep that? Is that what you want? That is what this woman is proposing. He says they don't leave because they don't want to lose. No. Don't fear to be taken anything. If you think who I am, there's no way for you to leave. If you believe that you're here to obtain anything, then you leave. Eventually you'll leave because you're not here because you believe in this. You're here for a position. These two were here for a position, but they stayed with Duque only. Just like that. Even that, it didn't give fruit. So then what you're proposing here, saying, look, Christian said that those who are not in agreement with him, they can leave. He says, but how evil. You're a teacher of, a master of the word. What he's saying, I'm going to tell you. If you leave, you're going to lose being a part of the Messiah. You're going to lose what I preached to you. How evil. He's saying, he's threatening you. That is what he needed to say, that he's threatening you. Threatening you if the privileges that the eternal truth belong only to the eternal truth. If the eternal truth is wrong, and nothing exists, and there's nothing, then there's no privilege to have ever belonged to the eternal truth of the things that they were going to receive. But if the eternal truth will receive anything, if I have an inheritance in a house and I renounce to that inheritance of that house, then I won't receive a thing. It's not that I can renounce and leave with the promise. No. If somebody leaves here, it's because they actually think that this is a lie. Or else why leave? Do you understand what I'm saying? If somebody leaves here, it's because he says, this is dog shit. This is a lie. So then it's not enough. It's not needed to say, like a little snake, careful. Maybe you agree with our words, there are more snakes. But if you're in agreement with what we say, he manipulated you and he says that you're going to lose your advantage of being a Messiah. So then maybe that's why you don't leave. But what he's also telling me and you, many think like we do, but they don't dare to leave because they fear. They're both snakes. Go and entangle yourself wherever, entangle wherever you want, but not here. Don't not entangle yourselves here and yourselves left. by launching your venom, so then the seals will applaud your exit. All the seals, all the brainless applaud the exit of Stephen and Claudia, because they never belonged here and they deceived us for enough time. What have we learned from all this? What we have learned of all this is that no king of the new kingdom is by their own choice, but rather by choice and creation of Yahweh. That is what predestination is called. It is not by chance who will be a king and who won't be. We can't get confused. We may believe that we are and we're not, or maybe we can think that we won't be and we are. All that is contemplated by the masterful work of Yahweh. This is a master work, and the culmination is the Messiah. That is the culmination. Of course, since we haven't seen it, it would seem to be fantasy, but it'll happen, because I believe in the work of Yahweh. I believe absolutely in the work of Yahweh. I believe how he has been developing it. I believe in the prophecies, how they have been unfolding. The last thing left is the kings, and that will come. And still, in my calculations, he has 6 years to do so, because he says that he'll stop working on the 7th millennium. In order for him to stop working, he has to hand over his creation to the kings. That's what he made it. That's what he made it for. All the creation, he made it for those kings, because he says, I want for you to govern it, and he's teaching it now. Will it take place? It will take place. Absolutely, it will take place. Who are the kings? Well, he's preparing them in this very moment. What is the mission of the eternal truth? It is to prepare those kings. Those kings make up what is called a Messiah. That Messiah becomes a government of kings that will give their rules, their regulations, and will dictate what is just and what is not just. It is clear. But for now, we in this school, we have to be in agreement. And you don't come here to give your opinion mostly, but to learn. That is the truth. When I go and study in a class, you can have your opinion, you can ask, but you go there to learn, actually. And those that are here, we're learning. Psalm 78, 2, 1 through 2. Hear, O my people, my law, and hearken your ears unto the words of my mouth. I will open my mouth in proverbs. I will speak hidden things from times of old. We are those crazies. Do you know it, my friends? We are crazy because we think that there is an eternal justice which is called to rule the world. A flower is born every day the sun comes up. Every now and then you hear that voice as of a delicious bread, delicious to sing in the mind, along with the cicadas. But in turn, there is a transformer that consumes the best that you have, throws you back, and demands more and more of you. And there comes a point in which you no longer want. Suck at the liberty's breast. You will always take her within your heart. They may corrupt you. You may even forget. But she is always there. Yesterday, I had a dream with the hungry, with the crazies, those who left, those who are in prison. Today I awoke singing this song, which has been written time ago. It is necessary to sing it one more time. The destiny is written. The end is inevitable. Semper Fi. God is Argentinian. God is of Boca. Semper Fi. Let the laurels be eternal, that we knew how to achieve, crowned with glory. Let us live. Or we swear with glory to die. A great big applause for the kings that will rule this earth. We don't need them to be many, we need them to be one. And it's not what we want or need, but rather what the Creator has designed since the very beginning. Those are the kings. Hallelujah to every one of you. If you like the subject, give it a like. If you want to comment, you may comment. And also, don't forget that Boca plays soon. We have to win and crush them. We want the other one to win. When Bayern Munich, the more goals. I know that these Europeans, they say, hey, let's just tie and leave Boca outside. And well, that's fuck them all. But well, it'd be great for Bayern Munich would beat the other one, and for us, I don't know how we're going to crush them by goals. We just have Merentiel that just doesn't hit one. They don't know how to play. Another one except for the posts. Cavani's no good. They don't know where the posts are to hit him. Cavani can't even do it. He would just hit it above. He thought it was like American football, you know, where you have to hit it above. Maybe he thought he was playing American football. I don't know. But miracles exist, and Boca can go into the second round if these two things happen. For Bayern Munich to defeat Benfica and for us to score 6 goals. If we score 6 goals, I don't know how, but I believe in miracles, Boca goes on to the following game at least, in the playoffs. To top it off, the club would win $7 million, which would be better for the club. We can buy another player, because I believe personally that Riquelme is not so good, but he's not a thief, though. Not at all. I don't see him as a thief. So then, if we pass on to the next round, it'd be great. I'm speaking to all the fans, all those who understand, those who take the blue and gold in the heart. Hallelujah to every one of you. Aguante Boca. Let's go, Boca.